Good morning, Fighter and the Kid Army. What is up? Brian the Kid Callen is playing grab ass with his movement coach on the set of the Goldbergs as the gym teacher. So Brian's doing his thing. Brian's kind of a big deal right now. So I'm holding the fort down with Bas and Mauro. We'll get to that. Before we kick that off with those guys, and it's going to be a lot of fight talk. So if you're not into fight talk and three brilliant minds in the MMA world breaking down fights, this probably isn't the podcast for you. It's probably going to be a little more fight talk than the companions are used to. So this one should be fun. But I wanted to come in myself. I text Evan and Special K. I said, hey, I need to come in early because the reason I wanted to come in early was to talk to the fans, because I want to tell you guys what the story behind Fire and the Kid 3D and Brian's special and what exactly is going on here. So let's take it from the beginning. I always like to be open with you guys. I like to be up front. I like to let you guys know what's going on. We're all friends here, and I want to show you the power of the Fire and the Kid tribe. So when we originally decided to do the Fire Kid 3D, this web series, TV series, we signed a multi-term deal, web and TV. Fox said, okay, you guys create the show and we'll produce it. We'll do all that, and then we'll figure out to go from here. We said, okay. So Brian Callen, Mitch Rouse, and myself all wrote these 12 episodes. When we met with Fox, they said, listen, man, this doesn't fit the Fox platform. This isn't, PG or PG-13. And, we all said, well, have you ever listened to the podcast? It's really not PG or PG-13. That's not the demographic that we attract. That's not the demographic that we gear towards. We're pretty raw and ruthless on the show, whether it's fight talk, dating, whatever you want to call it. And so the suits at B said, listen, if you guys do this, we can't promise that we're going to put it out. And going back and forth with our agents, with Brian, with Mitch, with everyone, I just told, and I'm not trying to make myself sound smarter than I am. I told them, I said, if we censor this to appeal to the masses, we're going to lose everything we've worked for. You have got to let this be raw, real, and what we scripted. You have to, because the hardcore fan is who we want to appeal to. That's all you care about, your loyal listeners, that the people that have been on board with us, have got us to this point. You want to please them, the people who know the show, who know Brian, who know Brian, who know Brendan. So for me, it wasn't about editing it down and making sure it's PG-13 and all that, because I feel like you guys know us and we know you, and be doing you a disservice if we did anything different. So I told Fox, I told Brian, I told Mitch, ride and die on the fans liking what we put out. It might not be for Fox, so that's fine. So we shot all 12 the exact way we wanted to do it. We presented it to the suits. They said, this isn't Fox material. This is hard for us to stand behind. We need you guys to edit it, to blah, 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 blah. I said, that's not happening. This is what it is. This is what we believe in. So get behind it, or we're going to do it ourselves. And so that's what you're looking at. So it's not PG-13. It's pretty crazy. So, these big name companies, I'm going to name them all one by one, they backed out because it's not kid-friendly material, which is fine, because that you don't want to try to please the masses. You want to please your fans. That's what we're about, and that's what we're doing. So the direct-to-consumer model, our agents, the suits, all our friends said, man, I think it's a bad idea. I don't think you guys know what you're doing. And I kept telling everyone, trust the tribe, trust the Fire and Kid tribe, trust me. I know our fans. They know us. If you try and censor this or you try and honey dick them, it's going to end up biting us in the ass. You got to stay true to yourself. Brian goes, all right, let's do it, because it ultimately comes down to Brian and mine's decision. We did it, and I'm not going to go over particular numbers, but I will tell you this, that you guys have proved me right. You've proved Brian right, and it couldn't have gone any better, and that's just with the pre-sale. And the suits and beings that be wanted to even raise the price of it, And I told him the price it's at, there's too much competition. You have to give him a shirt. Let's include Brian Special. So let's move on to Brian Special. Then we'll get to Mauro and Bas. Brian Special, he was waiting from the word from certain companies that are big. Their logo is red or their logo is green. And he was waiting for them to check off and say everything's okay. Well, they told Brian, I don't know if it's very good. We want you to shoot it. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. Well, Rogan and I were at Brian's Special. I saw how it was shot. I've seen the thing 1,000 times. That's why I keep honeydicking you guys saying it's coming out. It's coming out. This thing is ready. Finally talked Brian, who talked his manager into releasing it with Fighting the Kid 3D. Again, you guys love Brian. I wish Brian could sit back and see the way other people view him. Because if you go down the route every other comedian's going, you get lost in the shuffle. The marketing, all that stuff, you get lost in the shuffle. So Brian, again, put his faith in me and you guys. And once again, the Fighting Kid tribe, the Fighting Kid army, you guys have proven Brian and I right. And you guys are making me look way smarter than I actually am. I just know what I like, and I know what you guys like, and I feel like there's no difference between me and you guys. Maybe I've done professional sports or whatever, but take all that away, and we're all the exact same. I think I know what's funny. I think we're all very similar there, and it shows at the live shows. When I meet you guys, we all have something in common. It's never awkward because you guys listen to us talk all the time. So this is me basically rambling to you guys. I'm sure some people are like, shut the fuck up and get to fight talk. But this was important for me because the Fighting Kid 3D, you can take away any fight I've ever won, any football game I've ever won, any prize possession, anything like that. I'm so proud of the Fighting Kid 3D and the work that we've done, and I knew you guys would stand behind it, and you guys are making this dream come true. You guys are the one that will be responsible for season 2. You guys are the ones that make this thing successful. You guys are the one that I don't have to wear a Reebok kit and have a bald guy tell me how high I have to jump. I don't have to do any of that bullshit. Brian doesn't have to do certain gigs anymore. Brian doesn't have to do certain stuff. So it's because of you guys. I just wanted to personally thank you. I know this is long. I'm sure I'm rambling, but I love you guys. And let's carry on with the show with Bas and Mauro. Let's get down to some fight talk. All right, guys, it's the podcast you've been waiting for. We got some serious fight talk. I would say the busiest guys in the fight game. We got Bas and Mauro in the house.
Woo! This guy is insane.
No,
busy.
You guys are
out of control.
El Guapo, he's very busy.
I'm a good second, third, maybe.
I mean, Brian and I are...
You guys are very busy. And by the way, doing amazing things.
You know what? Not compared to you guys. You guys are the originals. We're kind of like the redhead stepchild.
What did you do when I contacted you?
He just said we're old.
Yeah, well, I'm 51.
Well, you guys are the OGs, man.
Woo! Okay, that sounds better.
What did you guys do in Denver? What was that?
In Denver, we do live shows, nationwide live shows.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a comedy show. We have some fight talk, but it's a comedy show, and yeah, man, crazy.
Every week.
Not every week. That was a Denver tour. We did a West Coast tour. We do an East Coast tour, Midwest, Texas. Wow. We'll go over to Australia,
we're
UK.
Not busy.
Yeah.
You guys are busy, man.
Well,
you guys are super busy.
It's weekly now for me. Sunday to Wednesday with WWE, and then we come back, we do our podcast, and then beginning this Friday, we got Inside MMA. Still doing a little Showtime Championship boxing. Still doing a little Glory Kickboxing. So it's nice to have the fingers in so many pies, Mr. Shaw.
You are so deep into the fight game. Yeah. You are so deep.
I can't
you ride or die on the fight game, man.
I've always been a lifelong fan, and one of the reasons why you guys are sitting right here, I could never do what you guys chose to do, and I think that's what drew me into it. And a lot of my friends and people, and it's funny, you said beat it, nerds, if you don't want to get into fight talk. How many nerds love fighting? I mean, right here,
they all get bullied.
They all get bullied. I say, it's just a joke, but I'll say if you don't like fight talk, beat it, nerds. Just beat it, nerd. And it's just, guys are like, come on, man, I like fighting. I'm a nerd. I'm like, no, I don't mean it like that.
No, but it's true. There are so many people who go. You say, we're in deep, but into the stats, into the background, and I think that's what draws us to it because it's the purest form of competition. It's the truth, right?
It's the truth, and the MMA gods do not care what you have going on. I mean, you look at Conor McGregor, you got Holly, you look at Ronda. They don't care about what's
what makes
good
it
for
compelling.
business. That's why MMA is the best sport, because you can't really play favorites.
No, the narrative constantly changes.
Yeah, once Conor said, gods recognize gods. One god up there said, the only god. let's see about that.
Yeah. Then he said, well, not yet. Not yet, little buddy. Not yet.
Seriously, speaking of not yet, why are they talking about going right back to
That's
Nate
what.
Diaz and
Let's
Conor
just
McGregor?
jump on into this.
Yeah.
No, we'll start with the UFC, and I got a whole list for you guys. I've been thinking all day. I haven't been this excited to talk fighting in quite some time. So the UFC, if you look at it now, I just feel like there's not a lot of thought that goes into making these matchups. Because when I see Conor and Diaz too, why?
Why?
What is there to
Could be a
gain?
career killer also.
Well, that's
for
the
Conor.
thing. When in a business that Brendan, El Guapo, it's star-driven, and there are a handful. You can count on one hand the amount of stars that the MMA world have produced that have crossed over. The Conor McGregors, the Ronda Rouseys,
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, of course.
That's
the
about it.
original, but
That's about
not
it.
a lot of others. John Jones is but you're right, as a draw. But Conor McGregor, who is, by the way, the featherweight champion, you're holding a division hostage. You have a guy in Frankie Edgar who has more than done enough to warrant a shot at the championship. And it boggles the mind that this is even being discussed. I think Diaz beats him again.
I think Diaz beat, especially at 170.
Yes.
So he beat him already on short notice. Now you give him a full camp.
And he beat him. It wasn't a
No.
whatever people call a fluke
No,
or
it was a
slipped
beating.
on a banana.
No, no, no.
It was a beating.
He took what McGregor could give him in the first round.
Yeah.
And McGregor moving up has power, but obviously Diaz can take that power. at
And the
170.
UFC is, it's based off superstars. It just is,
Of
man.
course, because it follows the WWE playbook. It follows the playbook of you have to. We're in a business. We don't care about the dynasties, the New England Patriots or the Montreal Canadiens, or in the fight game, like you say, it's about selling tickets. It's about getting people emotionally invested, and it's about those casual eyeballs. The hardcore fan base.
They're always there.
Is
They're always there,
and
but
they're not enough to sustain.
well, you need guys. That's why it hurt me when Conor lost, because I love to see a guy beating the game. The
Sure.
Floyd Mayweather, I don't like him outside the ring, right? Inside the ring, I love a guy who beats the game.
smartest
Conor was beating the game.
Yep.
So I was cheering for him so hardcore. So when he loses, it's heartbreaking, because I just don't get what was the benefit of fighting Diaz. So you beat Diaz, people go, it was Diaz.
yeah,
He's not even
we-
a belt holder.
Yep.
You lose, now it's like, oh man, he's
Yep.
full of shit.
Well, they're trying.
now
to
you
make
do it again.
But that's it. I think they're
Yeah,
trying to
makes
make
no
him
sense.
whole again, though.
Okay.
They're trying to get McGregor the win back. But like
So
you
he
say,
beats him.
Like they did with Wanderlei Silva, when he fought Sakuraba.
Yeah.
Let's give him another rematch. Two down.
Sakuraba,
Then he got his ass.
Yeah, man.
Sakuraba
Had
got
to
used
get-
and abused. It does pain me.
Killed him.
what
Killed his
they
career.
did to Sakuraba and our beloved Pride Fighting Champion. But you're right. With so many quantifiable fights out there, and you can't tell me now that MMA's been legalized in New York. Frankie Edgar from New
Oh,
Jersey,
my God.
Conor McGregor, who is one of the biggest stars in the sport. You can't tell me that can't headline the first event.
I
at
just don't
MSG.
get it, man.
And it's closer to Ireland also.
Right.
There, these guys.
Dude,
Cheaper.
it worries me as a fan, right? As a fan, look at now, I see the Reebok deal, I see the mistakes they made with that. Then I look at the way they handle Conor's career. You look at Ronda, Holly, Misha. A lot of it really bothers me, because how much thought is going into it? Like, fighters are going to fight. You know this, boss.
Yeah,
so if someone says, boss, you need to fight this guy, you're doing it.
Yeah.
That's fine. That means you have a fighter's heart, fighter's brain. I get that. That's how you win the belt. However, a
business.
manager and Dana White should go, Holly, you're not fighting. The biggest fight in UFC history is you versus Ronda. If you lose this, you're missing out on the biggest payday of all
Well, and that's
time.
why he took shots at Lenny Fresca as her manager
Yes.
because she wanted to fight in the interim. And okay, Brennan, you've been there, done that in the fight game and in other ways. Ronda Rousey, can she mentally come back?
That's a great question. I don't,
Does she want to?
This is what bothers me. Dana goes, yeah, as soon as Misha won, I get a text. Looks like I better get back to training.
That bothered me. We talked about it.
Well, what if
Hollywood
won? She'd be like, I got another movie to do, man. Hey, man.
Exactly what we said.
I'm doing Expendables 17 to 2019,
Yeah,
so I don't know if you can fight.
All women expendables.
You have these movies back to back to back. It's true. But the
That's
logic
what
was
bothers
so
me.
emphatic and shattering that okay. So now what? Misha Tate has already been beaten twice by her. But I think
Is that intriguing?
Well,
a third time?
I will say, you know what? I will say no, but with a caveat. I think Miesha Tate has earned a lot of respect and praise for what she did against Holm and even against Rousey. I think once you win the title, Brendan, and you've been a champion, I'm of the school, and you guys could say I'm wrong. Once you have that belt, don't you become instantly better because you are the champion?
Unless the person that you got to fight has beaten you twice pretty handily. But this is, why not at UFC 200, and they both want to do it, why not do Miesha Holm too?
That's a rematch.
I would watch that.
Because it was the last round.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a rematch.
That makes more sense. And then the winner of that really earns a shot at Ronda, and you have a big payday.
Sure. Jimmy Pedro, I looked at an interview that they did with him, and he said right after the loss that because he trained Ronda, and he said she will not fight again.
That's
I know
what I think.
she'll not fight again. He was very blatant about it, and I say she has to. Her competitive side is just out of control. She needs to fight, and she needs to fight Holm. Whatever happens, she can fight Miesha, but I would say she needs to fight
She
Holm
has
first.
to fight Holm no matter what.
No matter what.
Even if she beats Miesha, she has one more fight no matter what. She has to fight Holm.
I think she loses to Holm faster.
I agree. I think in the women's division, they're years behind where men are at as far as full skill set. So Ronda Holly, it's just Ronda's Achilles heel. They fight 100 times, Ronda might win once. It's just a horrible matchup for her. Everyone else she destroys, including Miesha.
Yep.
But that's you say though you feel bad because of the matchups and you're right, it is a star-driven business, but in a weird way, last year's injury bug, the morbidly obese injury bug of combat sports, is almost a blessing in disguise because this year UFC's off to a record start in many ways with the pay-per-view buy rates. The ratings are up on Fox Sports 1, and yes, that's on the back of people like McGregor.
Yeah,
I also think you'd have to, if you're a smart promoter, you have to use your stars to build up the next layer, and
they're doing.
That's what they're trying to do, and I think they're doing a good job of it right now.
They're doing all right. I wish they would take care. Like Conor should have never been in there with a bigger Diaz.
Right.
You look at certain
100%.
matchups. I just feel like there could be more thought. But you look at there's a lot of younger guys fighting these legends. Right. So these older guys, like, dude, stay out of the game.
That's
man.
it.
Because all they're doing is setting you up.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing, man.
Yeah.
They're trying to make these young guys get famous off your hard work.
Sure. And wouldn't you do that as a promoter?
I fought Mirko Krokop.
Yes.
He was basically 100 years old. And it was the highlight of my career. And I jumped at the chance to knock him out. So I get it. But if I'm Mirko, I'm like, I'm not fighting that young dude. I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah.
So I don't get it, man.
Yeah. Well, it's I think from the marketing standpoint and the business, we can say, are there too many shows? I think the roster for the UFC is bloated myself. I don't want to say, begrudge anyone from making a living, but come on, you should not be making, if you don't have at least 10 pro fights and a decent regional promotion, why are you in the UFC supposedly the best?
Look at the women's ranking. Some girl, I think she ranked 10th. Her record's like 4-7. I was like, what the fuck? What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Is there only 10 of you? You know, how's this work?
Yeah.
But I think MMA fans today, especially in UFC, are a little spoiled because if you compare numbers like UFC 100, right? Biggest UFC of all time, go through that roster. John Jones versus Jake O'Brien was on the undercard.
Well, I had two of the biggest draws at 100. Brock Lesnar, George St.
Look at the whole card. Dan Henderson, Michael Bisping, Thiago Alves. What? But now, like Conor McGregor, was it second biggest of all time, I think? Or they might have said the biggest.
1.5 I heard. And 1.6 is the
Dave
biggest.
Meltzer, our buddy at Wrestling Observer, usually has good inside info on that. He says it could be the second biggest right now after.
So look at that card compared to other cards. Like UFC 100, banger.
Yeah.
This one with Conor. Look at that under.
We fell asleep
That main card, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that was bad. That's why he jumped in the pool.
I did the Stockton splash. I told him right before I go, I'm picking Diaz to upset McGregor. And usually when you make a bet, you jump in the pool if you lose or you do something stupid like that. Man. I said, no. I need to wake up, Buzzito. So when Diaz did it, we jumped in.
To me, I just don't get it because you have such a platform to make all these guys.
But what do titles mean then, too? I mean, there's always these balls that we juggle when it comes to combat sports. Do you want it to be pure sport? No. Do you want it to be entertainment only? No. Do you want a hybrid? Yes. Well, is it a about rankings, well, the rankings are kind of they don't make any sense.
I'd
Is it
say-
about
I'd say-
selling tickets?
Look at Bellator, how they point at getting eyeballs.
We'll
right?
get to them. Oh my! We'll get to them. See, I think Dana White's more like Vince McMahon
Of course.
than he is.
He read he not only read Vince's book, but he's like, okay, I'm gonna make my.
I think they're besties. He's like texting him like, "What do you think's fun?"
But you know what? And again,
How about we bring in CM Punk? Brilliant!
I've always said that though, my friend. I've always said, and being with pride, of course, we know this all too well. It is the fight business. It is a show. Everything now is entertainment. I don't care if you call it a sport, if you call it a play, if you call it a podcast. We're all in the entertainment business.
That's all it is. That's all it is. But you have to be careful because look at Bellator.
Well,
look what they're doing. They got good numbers, but I was ashamed.
They took a look at pride, like a 600-pound against a 40-pound guy, but like, it was a shame. It was a setback for MMA. The Kimbo Dada
probably
fight,
about 4 years.
That was really bad.
So set them back about 4
blame
years.
Scott Coker for doing
No, of
what
course
he's doing?
not.
But
But
he did get record ratings, and since then the ratings have been up. Again, Mr. Meltzer, thank you, up 45% or something. Like you say,
so he's doing a good job.
So, but at what cost? I know what you mean, and I agree. Especially the Dada 5,000 Kimbo fight. And now
Dada, did you die? Yeah, I did. No, I did.
He got resurrected a couple of times.
But did you die? No, really, I did. And then I'm back. Yeah.
What makes it even worse? Kimbo and Shamrock both popped for steroids, so there's just pouring kerosene on that fight.
That's just a sidetrack. A lot of fans, especially the public fans, not the heart, they don't care. I think to them it's just like,
Do you care?
I think
as
about
a fighter,
that.
did you care? You cared. I
No,
know.
that freak show, I didn't care.
No, but as a as a fighter, did you care about people being on steroids?
I assume everyone I fought was on them.
That's what I always thought in Japan as well. There were so
That's
many.
the game we're in. Never.
And I'm not trying to put you on the spot in your podcast, but were you ever pressured?
No.
Because
Oh, was I pressured? Yes. I passed so many tests, it's not even funny. Because a lot of guys I train with were, and they've been busted. I've been tested more times than a lot of guys, especially before all this VADA test came in. So I got tested in college football, pro football.
Right.
I've been tested so many times.
So you say you know people. Why do they do it then, Brendan?
It's part of the game.
They're trying, and that stuff that they took, I did a little homework on it. Apparently, that's the hardest to detect. That one is the fastest out of the system. What was it, nandrolone? Yeah, but what I'm worried about is what Ken took, methadone. That's not a good sign.
I don't even know what it is.
Well,
That's to get off on heroin.
To get off of heroin.
So
But that
I
was
would
what
like to know
didn't-
if he is okay.
man.
In a good spot. Yeah,
Hey,
that
man,
was
let's
he
not
said,
do
the
heroin and
steroid
fight
and the methadone.
boys.
Hello, Mr. Jimi Hendrix. How are you, sir? Good to
Jesus.
see you.
Yeah, right? Fans sent that to us, man. That's what we like to do
Along
here.
the Watchtower, baby.
I won't say his name. I once had a very successful UFC fighter tell me when I was first getting in the game, it's not about the best fighter, it's about the best doctor.
And
I was
that is BS.
Yes.
I don't believe that.
but maybe you don't believe it, but
You don't believe it, but boss, there must be some sort of issue if even UFC was like, shit, we got
And
to do
honestly,
something.
let's
hire VADA, the strictest test of all time, which I think is.
I think they're doing a good job.
As
man.
a fighter, I'm
Hundreds
like,
of
hell yeah,
tests.
do it.
Yeah.
If you want entertainment,
Well,
it's going to
thank
weaken the
you.
game. It's going
Yeah,
to water
yeah,
down the
yeah.
game.
Well,
Look at baseball.
I was going to say, look at Pride Fighting Championships. I mean, we were in the Wild West there. I as the naive new guy, wanted to be the real journalist broadcaster. Do we drug test?
You see this guy walk around.
They go into this room,
chest,
and of course, I
Is
look
he
in there.
using?
That guy's wearing a lab coat. I guess they're testing. Okay,
We're
fine.
good. We're
We saw
good.
this guy come up. He was a Russian guy with a big belly, like a belly. And he goes like, now we know the final resting place from Jimmy Hoffa. He ate him.
No, it was crazy times.
Yeah, Pride was the Wild Wild West.
But
Now,
entertainment.
Oh.
Amazing.
I
Still
refer to it as the golden age of
I
MMA.
loved it, man.
There was nothing
so
How
good.
violent
better.
was that, though? How about Vanderlei Silva holding onto the rope, breaking the rule already, and stomping Yuki Kondo's head like a grape? And me with all this relish, and again!
Kill him!
No, what about the big sumo guy? He had to he fought some.
Zuluzinho?
No, it was not. He comes in.
Akibono.
No, not Akibono. It was another one. He had to go 2 fights before. He had to go to a chair that was already placed in the room because otherwise the walk from the dressing room to the ring would make him too tired.
This ain't for you, man. This ain't for you, brother.
Danny Yarbrough?
Yarbrough. That was the guy. That's the guy.
Rest in peace. We lost him.
Oh.
He did pass away.
Oh, he was really nice. Good guy.
Remember the fight with Takase?
That was the one.
It was like, it reminded me of like those old Gilligan.
We were like
where they're
messing
having
around
the
there.
dreams and everyone's like, we used to call him midget now, I guess a dwarf at the time. But they're running around the table. That's what it seemed like. Takase was this little guy, and here's...
Quadros and I did the commentating for that,
Right.
and we started doing jaws on him because he fell on him and he couldn't get him up.
You're gonna need a big...
He just laid on him.
See, I felt Japan, they like the freak show, but they're also so knowledgeable on the sport.
Absolutely.
When it went to the ground, they would clap.
But that's... And
Yeah.
see, this
America,
is why,
they go,
This is why I think we all
Yeah.
remember Pride the way we... I know we're biased, but it was the best of the freak fights, of the entertainment, but also the best roster ever. Those
By far
grappling
ever.
tournaments. Mauricio Shogun Hua.
Look at the heavyweight tournament.
The heavyweight
What?
tournament. But when
Yeah.
Hua, remember, we had to go through at 23 years old. We talk about John Jones and what he accomplished. Mauricio Shogun Hua at 23, my man.
I agree.
We
Yeah.
saw him become... I think we said it.
We said
just
in
seen
front
a
of our very
star
eyes.
born in
Yep.
front of our very
He
eyes.
had a tougher path than John.
Yeah.
And if you look at it at 23,
Yes, of
Dude,
course.
animals,
legends.
total animals. All these three guys are killers. Ninja, he, and then Vanderlei.
Yeah, and he
Man.
beat Alistair over him in the Ricardo Arona, he destroyed in the final, man. It was, but you think
burst
back,
onto the scene,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Do you guys, because you guys have been working together how long? 15 years?
we worked 2003 to 2006. So 3 years, but we've known each other for 15,
15,
years.
but you've worked together.
Yeah.
Let's say in a hypothetical world, Rogan was like, you know what, I'm good. This is all hearsay. Let's say Rogan goes, you know what, I'm good with UFC. He backs out, and UFC came calling towards you guys. Because I assume if Rogan left, they'd probably say, hey, Goldie, kick rocks.
No, but you know what? I tell you, well, no. First of all, he I think, would be amazing, and I would hope that he one day gets a chance, only because I do believe he's
yeah,
the
but do
best
we
of
have
all
the-
worlds. But
but
you know what? I
do we
also
have the
respect.
time,
No,
you
that's
know?
the other thing. I can say unequivocally, no. I've got enough on my plate. I would have loved to.
You
have-
passed up the
Okay,
UFC.
His
what-
dream
no,
job has always
with
been WWE.
I did Pride.
We'll get to
I love
that.
UFC.
We will
Oh yeah,
get
no, I
to
love UFC.
wrestling.
But I also respect Goldberg, Anik, and this is the other thing. What you're doing, I'm amazed that in a sport where these guys are all crazy and dumb to go in there and beat the crap out of each other, some of the most articulate, educated people. I'm amazed at the wealth of analysts' knowledge that we have with the UFC.
Oh, they
Brian
do.
Stann,
Yeah, yeah.
Bisping,
Oh.
Dominic Cruz,
Frank Mir.
of course,
Dan
Daniel
Hardy, we were
Cormier.
talking about him
Cormier,
last time. He
yeah,
did a great
Cormier.
job in England.
They're
He was
so
really good.
I applaud that. I really do, because I think he should, if that ever comes
This is
up,
the
but
problem with those
I'm
guys.
fine.
This is the problem with if Rogan were to step down, whether it's next year or 4 years from now, is you need a guy. It's unlike other sports. You need a guy with a personality to keep people entertained.
Yep.
Because the issue is, and I love Anik, I love Florian,
I think Brian
I love
Stann
all
could
these.
be that guy, though. I
Really?
really do. I don't know why. I know what you
I
mean.
disagree.
Maybe not
I
as
disagree.
entertaining,
You
but
need a guy
He's so
who-
well spoken, man.
I agree. But that's
I know
NFL,
what you
NBA,
mean.
and the product is the big deal.
Yep.
But UFC is so much more entertaining, and it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You need a color commentator and a play-by-play guy who's been there, but also has personality.
Sure.
Otherwise, people zone it out.
Yep.
There's a reason
Well, there's
when
a
Rogan.
reason why a lot of people don't like me either, because of the
No,
personality.
not at
But-
all. You have personality.
But that's what-
That's what people would
polarize
say
it.
to you.
Absolutely.
Well, but that's what you want, as long as
I
people are
agree,
talking.
100%
However,
agree.
if it's a robot, just no personality, people don't like it. There's a reason when Rogan and I do the fight companions, when he's not doing them, people turn off whoever's doing it, and we get way more listeners and viewers.
Well, Rogan's a freak of nature too. Talk about a guy that's not human. I mean, his mind, the way his mind works.
You know what, man? He's a savant. As far some days I don't get how you do it, man. I literally don't know how do you get it.
It's the craziest thing.
It is.
He'll do a 3-hour podcast. He'll like grab a whatever coconut water or some shit. Do another 3-hour podcast. Go
hunting
home.
for his meals
Check
for the
it.
rest of the
This
month.
is legit his schedule. Go home. Read a bedtime story to his kids. Eat dinner. Go do 4 shows at comedy stores,
unbelievable.
and then the next morning he's up by 6 a.m. taking his kids to Disney.
I want to try that drug though that he does. You know that crazy drug where he said I read it in People magazine or some magazine he did an
Oh,
interview.
the
It's like some
DMT.
right?
They say it's like really out there.
Another level.
Yeah, no, you
Another
see
level.
other people. I go, oh yeah.
I don't think you walk around and you see things, my friend. We all.
I know.
I don't know if you need that, boss.
I know, but maybe
We can
it
bring out
opens some
Frank the
doors
Tank
for
boss
me.
again. We can bring out the old boss.
Don't urinate on me today, please.
Oh, you heard that story.
So, boss, because they're going to near your homeland, right? In the UFC, isn't it over in
Rotterdam,
fighting?
right?
Rotterdam,
Rotterdam,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They're gonna go.
Any word?
No, they wanted me. Fox wanted me. Fox in Holland, but the Dutch, it's a whole different ball game with money than it is here. So like when I asked my regular what I would get, my rate, they were like, I mean, we're talking about 15% of it.
So wait a minute.
That's,
What?
Wait a minute.
Who's paying the bill?
Yeah, but wait, you're telling me that you wouldn't go back to your homeland where you were given life and an opportunity to become a legend, and just out of the goodness of your heart, show up for the first UFC?
Nah, he's Hollywood now.
I would.
This is pure Hollywood boss now.
Let me say this.
If you fly me first class and pay me 20,000
Well, that's what the
G's.
UFC does, right? And I don't even need that. But the thing is, with me is also, I'm going to miss an Inside MMA. If I miss an Inside MMA and I go for that money, I'm losing money on the trip. Why would I even go on the trip?
I agree,
At
boss.
least make up that money. I say, listen, if I would have been in Holland, I'd do it for
So
free.
now we've
I just drive over there, I do the show, and that's it.
We know why Diaz and McGregor 2 is going to happen, just because of what you said. It's all about the money. Here comes the money.
It really is, but it's the same
It's always
thing.
about
It's the
money.
same thing, boss. So I was doing a show with UFC Now. I was doing UFC Tonight, and I'm so busy with Fighting the Kid, and I have this other show going on, filming that. I just told him, I said, man, if you want me to do that, I'm not trying to be a dick.
No, you're right.
But this is my worth now.
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
the
it's so true.
I'm not the Brendan who did free
Isn't it nice
freaking
to be
fan
able to say
expos and
that?
stuff like that.
Yep.
This is my rate now. And they're like, man, we can't pay that. I said, then we're going to go our different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
there's no hard fee. It's all business.
Yeah, with me, they even asked if there was trip included.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I understand Fox
No,
it's
I'm
much
joking.
smaller
I can
in
joke.
Holland than it is, of
Absolutely.
course, here in
Yeah,
America.
yeah.
You see, so here the
But no, you
powerhouse.
Can't do it there without boss, though.
I know. I really wanted to be there. Yeah, I really wanted to, because then I can see my grandchild also,
Well,
who just was born in December.
Beautiful kid, by the way.
That's a big deal.
The great Scott.
The great Scott. Do you guys? What's your guys' take on John Jones? Do you think because he posts pictures on Instagram
He
working
should-
out and stuff,
no,
everything's all good now?
He should channel his
No.
inner Floyd Mayweather Jr. and just be the heel that he is born
That's
to
what
be.
I'm saying. Just be the heel.
Jones, you're a young kid who earned a lot of money, $1 million. Yeah, you made mistakes. You lived the party lifestyle. So what? You're still one of the pound for pound best.
Own it.
Don't
That's
try
it.
to be something
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
Not
You're not.
because-
Just own it. It's
Yeah,
not.
own it.
We can
That's
all
it.
see it.
Own it.
Because then the life is much easier
Oh,
for him as well.
absolutely.
Just go, man.
Just go with
Just
it.
do your thing,
mean-
and you could play that whole heel role.
Yeah.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Yeah.
All sorts of cool dark shit.
But you know what? And this is even in WWE, for instance. It's funny, Mayweather, we all know in stories, you're only as good as the bad guy. Everyone needs a foil. A television show, a movie, everything is about conflict, the bad guy. Nowadays, everyone wants to sell merchandise. Everyone gets the endorsements, of course, to make the money. If you are who you are, that's why I love the Diaz people.
I agree.
The Nick and Nate, I don't care how foul, how brazen, how, no one's role model they are real. And that's what draws me to
People
them.
buy that though.
That's why people love it.
buy
They're
that though.
legit.
Like if John went full heel dark side, if he
man.
embraced. Listen, man, my favorite character is Darth Vader from Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Yeah. No, yeah, people
Just
like that.
do that, John.
He can
Tony
be the
Montana.
sloppy rich kid.
Yeah, Tony Montana. There you
Let's
go. He's a
He
terrible
can put all the
person.
coke on the table.
Yeah.
Jones, he can do whatever he wants to do, and then people are going to hate him.
But
More
he's gonna
people,
make
more
a lot
pay-per-view
of
buys,
money.
going to make a lot of money.
I agree,
Mayweather
man.
banked
I love
over
that idea. That's a
$700
great idea.
million in his career.
And he was hitting
After
girls
that-
all the way.
Well, you're right. I mean, that's the other part of it too. Like, who are you as a human being? And
Who's
do
that? What did you talk about?
Mayweather. But look at Jones too. Like, where do we separate when it comes to what we're choosing to watch or pay money for, or do we, in this TMZ world of ours, 24-hour news cycle? Because you're right. I had to call the fights, and there were times where I'm like, man, I don't. He's the pound for pound best fighter, and yet he's also
He's so great.
He's
He
unbelievable.
was so great at what he does. We forgot about his dark history.
Right. Well,
We forgot
true.
because
You're right.
he went money,
But do you bring
winning,
it up during the
undefeated.
show, or do you bring it up in a forum like this? I think you can talk about it in a forum like this when we are presenting Showtime Championship Boxing or pay-per-view or even the UFC. I think as journalists, if that's the word you want to use, you acknowledge it. But people waiting, they're going to watch a fight.
Yes.
This is not.
They
the
don't care what
story.
he does.
Exactly.
Because you're crazy. Aaron Hernandez, straight serial killer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, if he would have got off and teams would, he's so good, teams would have signed him. I
People
guarantee.
versus O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, right. Those home teams would have been like, "We'll take him." That's how good he
Yeah.
was.
Wow.
That's the world. That's the world we live in.
Wow. That's
the
how
world
good
we
he
live in.
was. I didn't even know he
That's
was
how-
that
no,
good.
he was amazing.
He was. Yeah, I can't
So-
even say
so-
that. One of my favorite receivers in the NFL.
Seriously.
Murderer. Wow.
So if I just think if John went that route,
Yes.
he'd get more support and he'd be happier.
Right.
I think so
agree.
too, because now he's attacking everybody. You can't say anything to him. You know, if somebody makes a comment, he goes right the way he went to Chocolate L against Chocolate L.
Yeah,
like, I would have saved that chin. I go, dude, just say, okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion is different. That's it. Leave
I
it
agree.
there. You
But
don't
I-
have to
but I also
re-attack.
I agree,
But
John.
that's
You're
the thing,
winning.
you
You've
win.
won, man.
Yeah,
you
you're the-
fucking won, man.
Yes.
Back
Get
up,
it.
man.
Yes.
You've won.
And now is he going to
don't
win
get
against
it.
Cormier? You know what? I love
That-
Daniel Cormier.
I love
I
DC.
think he was obviously small heavyweight. Yeah.
What's DC do different?
Yeah. See.
No,
that's
but
what-
this the
what
thing
does
is,
he do
okay,
different?
what Tiger Woods had something happening to him, right? Destroyed his career. He could never focus anymore. Now, I'm not going to say that
Wow,
with Jones
you
the same thing.
Okay.
But what if?
I agree. That's an.
What if,
that-
like a
that's the
Ronda
storyline.
Rousey also,
That's-
she got really
That's why.
a butt handed to her.
Yeah.
You know, can she come back from it? And with
That's
Jones
the
also,
storyline.
that was a lot of things.
And
He's
it's
going to
been a
have to
while.
make a lot, and it's going through his mind. That's why maybe he's reacting like that on
But I think
online.
he's
I
just
don't
so
know.
naturally good
And I
that
think
it
that
won't
Daniel
phase him.
Cormier, he couldn't finish the
No.
DC last time. So Cormier comes now in. Okay, maybe if that was in the back of his head, and it could happen now. He's
and been through
I
the
know.
wars with Johnson and Gustafsson.
But he's
while
kept on
Jones
fighting.
I agree with that, and you know way more than me, my man. I'm playing the devil's advocate of being that I just think Jones is still a preserved guy who's just becoming bigger, fitter, and into his
No,
prime.
Remember that fight
he
wasn't
is
that
pound for
close.
pound. He's a
Remember that
freaking
fight
animal.
wasn't that close.
No,
John
he-
took him down,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
broke
He only
him
got taken out once, right?
twice.
Twice?
He
No,
took
but-
he took John down, or John took him down twice.
Twice, but Cormier only landed one, I believe.
He got up though.
Yeah,
I don't even think it
absolutely.
Yeah,
counted.
but you know, there were moments that I thought Cormier was winning those rounds, though.
Close.
If I think about
But,
he
but at
just
the end of the day, it
in the
was-
beginning, he was very strong, and I think
Beginning,
he
but
learned from that. He's
as-
going to need more stamina. He needs the O2 trainer. That's what he needs.
That's what. There it is. That's the secret
You and
weapon.
I are the same wavelength. As we heard on Rutten and Ranallo on iTunes, Daniel Cormier told us the first fight he did have too much emotion. He is not going to go in with the same emotion this time. But like you say, I think it will be competitive. I know that Cormier is going to fight with every ounce of his being, and coming from AKA, his striking will be against anyone else probably as competitive as can be.
Remember what he said though. He goes. Well, last time I had jitters, and then
Right.
also I didn't have Cain. Well, you don't have Cain again.
Right.
Yeah.
And now those jitters probably even more real because now John's serious about fighting.
Well,
Yeah,
so
I think Jones makes
Rico
his statement.
Verhoeven went there to train. I hope he's going to go there and help him a little bit.
At AKA?
That would be something, yeah.
Amazing kickboxer, that guy. Wow.
yeah, might be the best in the
I
world.
told
You know
him, I
what?
said, that's
If
a
he
great
moves
gym
to
for you. And
MMA,
both these guys, great wrestlers, you know,
That's what he needs to
what
work
they're
on.
gonna do. Yeah.
He should just say, forget striking, just wrestle.
That's
it.
what I did.
His striking's
Well,
so far
submission.
advanced from
Oh,
everyone.
that's
nice.
Forget the wrestling.
Love it.
Yeah, he doesn't need it
Are you a
anymore.
fan of Glory Kickboxing?
I
know
am.
Joe Rogan loves it.
Love it. Absolutely
why
love
is,
it.
Okay, why isn't it more pop? Why isn't kickboxing or Glory Kickboxing more popular? in the
Oversaturated
States?
with all the other sports.
Oversaturated, but entertainment
American
too.
stars?
Also, we don't care about the stars. We need a story. There's a reason when you watch
You're right.
Showtime,
They're so-
when you watch 24/7
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Countdown, I get invested. Glory
Yeah,
does
good.
none
You're
of
right.
it.
That's a
Ah,
good.
good point.
America
Yeah,
goes,
boy.
come on, man.
But
you know?
because I
You're right.
think that's funny, and I agree with that. But once the bell rings, 3-3-minute rounds, 5 3-minute rounds. For our 21st century short attention span, I think it's the best form of combat.
I know, but we don't care
85%
because we don't.
knockouts.
Americans
But
Americans
you're
don't
right,
know.
want the story.
They
That's
don't
it.
care.
Okay, well, you
They
bring up
just
a good
don't
point.
care.
And that's
You
what
bring
I'm
up a
saying about
salient
Risen.
point.
They say, everybody tells me, is that going to, I say, it's going to fail. It's going to be okay for now for 3-4 shows, but eventually they want to root for their own.
Yes.
And they need somebody in the final if they ever do a competition, whatever
would-
tournament.
who in
They
the
need a
UFC?
Japanese really good guy in there.
Who in the UFC could be an instant player in glory with his striking right now? Donald Cerrone, Josie Aldo,
We don't have one.
John Jones.
We don't have one. That
No,
can
the
walk
only
in.
one is Hunt, but it's because that's where he
we could have
started.
Hunt,
Right.
Rico
Hunt,
Verhoeven because he just started
Hunt,
now.
Crow Cop if he decided to come
So
back.
right
Yeah.
now, because of the fact
That's it.
again, and I like the answer because that shows me who boxer versus MMA. They're all individual sports that are part of maybe like boxing's a part of MMA, but the MMA.
Oh, it's
striking
completely
is
different.
No way, thank you.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
no way
distance,
close
everything.
People have no idea. If you took who's our best striker? At heavyweight, let's say you take Junior Dos Santos
Dos
of Verdum,
Santos.
and they go against a big time
Yeah,
boxer.
Overeem will be a great striker. in
Overeem
heavyweight
was
division.
he was the only guy, right?
Yeah.
Won an MMA title and a K1
That's
title.
true.
But
Overeem's probably the biggest guy, but
Yeah.
if you take just straight boxing, you
Right.
put a guy in there with Anthony Joshua
Yep.
or any of these big time young heavyweights,
Yep.
Wilder, they will. It's not even a competition.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
a
good.
different game.
Yeah,
it's
no, you're
stupid.
right.
It's like, hey, how would Tiger Woods do playing quarterback for
Right.
the Denver Broncos? Probably not very good,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's not what
Well,
he does.
Dustin Jacoby, who was, let's face it, a journeyman UFC fighter, wasn't the greatest fighter. He's had good success. In
Yeah,
glory, but
you know,
again, it's the relative to competition.
You know, and what
but
I
like
thought
the
also,
sport. I
because
love
if you're used to 5-minute rounds, with including in the wrestling and everything, I think the stamina from a mixed martial artist is actually better than stamina from a striker. So if you go from MMA to striking, you know, I think that's
Are MMA fighters the most well-conditioned athletes in the world because of their training?
Hands down.
I would say so.
Hands down. Not even close. Hands down.
Is that part of the reason why, though?
It's all different kinds of stamina as well.
It's completely
what about
different.
The injuries? Why are we seeing so? Here, I'm turning this.
No, let's do it, man. No, I love it. No, I love it, man. I love it. That's your job, brother.
Rooted fighter Ranallo kid. New.
It's Mauro, the fighter and Bas.
But why are there been? Again, I want to ask
guys are uneducated because a lot of it comes from, and Bas knows, he was kind of the first real athlete, I think, to get into the game. As far as a pure, really good athlete, Bas was the first kind of hybrid because a lot of these guys come from backgrounds where they don't have an extensive sport background. So all they know is fighting. So when you make it a job, a sport, they overtrain. There's so much to work on. And they don't have, their coaches don't know, they don't have knowledge. So they just go, train all the time. So these guys are getting hurt nonstop from the pressure of the fight. They're always constantly trying to get better. You have all these aspects to work on. Yep. They really don't know how to time management. They really don't know how to eat proper.
Plus, automatically, they want to do what they like the best. So if they, for instance, like striking the most, instead of working on your weaknesses, people go automatically drawn to the part that, it's easier for me to do. That's what something I don't understand with some fighters nowadays. They don't do that. You know, you see them losing by submission. I go, get another job, dude. It's not your job.
I agree.
You don't want to. If you don't want to improve, get out of here. You look stupid.
I agree. I think you're gonna see more well-rounded guys and less injuries when the fighters, guys around my age, start coaching. Because they've been there, they've been down that road.
What about,
because the old coaches, like my head coach in Denver, straight boxing.
Sure.
So we did road work all the time. Shane Carwin and I. I was like, Shane, you're 280 pounds. I'm 240. We're running like 15 miles a week. I feel like this is a bad idea.
When does hard sparring end? Okay, if you have a fight coming up, when should hard sparring end? Because we're seeing that some people, like even Dos Anjos broke his foot, a couple of weeks before the fight. Like
I would imagine Bas and I disagree on this.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, Bas is hardcore. You were a freak.
We were crazy at the time. 2 times a day sparring, and well.
Do you believe in it still? That was the right way to do it?
No, the way I did it, we did it, yes. But what you need, and this is very hard to find, is a partner who has the same skill set as you. Because I can go with Amir Peretz. Yep. We can go full blast. Nobody's going to get injured. People watching, they're going to go, dude, you guys got to tone down. But everything is controlled. Everything
That's because no ego's involved.
There's no egos involved. Once some guys are lesser competition, you make weird moves and you kick an elbow or you kick a knee.
The only problem with that, Bas, is because what happened with us in Denver, we had Nate Marquardt, Rashad Evans, GSP, Shane Carwin, all these guys. We were so close when we sparred. We knew exactly what they were going to do in every situation. So after time, nothing was new. Yeah. Nothing was new though. So when we got in a fight and I was expecting this to happen, it wasn't, so it almost hurt us.
Yeah. And I talked about the IFL a long time ago, and I said this all the time. That's why the guys from the IFL, there were fighters who were not known at the time, but they start excelling. A lot of these guys ended up in the UFC and the other big organizations. And the reason is, and I'm telling you, and it's exactly what you're saying right now, you're training as a team. Normally you train for yourself, and all the golden combinations that I hit you constantly with in training, I'm not going to tell you I'm doing that because it's working. Right. But now as a team, you want him to win. So now they say, hey, listen, I've been taking you down now 3 times like this. This is how you stop that takedown. They start sharing their knowledge, and that's why these fighters became so good.
It's same in the Ultimate Fighter. In the Ultimate Fighter, because it depends. Because when I was on the Ultimate Fighter, to me, there's no team. There's only one contract. But they kept going. They kept gathering around for a team. And in my head, I'm like,
everybody's the enemy.
What?
Everybody.
But then I was like, you know what? I'll play this role. So I'm like, let's do it, guys. Oh yeah, you should do this. You should do that. But we were all training, and we weren't training for one thing because who you were going to fight. So it's just training to get better. And everyone got better so fast.
So the quality of training during the reality show for you was great.
It's very good because you have all the training partners you can handle. Yeah. That's the difference.
But it will be even better if the training partner is going to tell you if he did something 3 times in a row to you and you didn't see it, he's going to go, hey, you should do this because this is the way I set you up, And once you start sharing that kind of stuff, people are going to go, beep.
But when you get familiar with a training partner, like I knew Shane, if I backed him into a corner, he was going to fly and shoot a double leg or a crazy right hand. I knew those were the only two things he did. So I got used to that.
Yep.
But and it was on us and our coaches. We never really changed. Again, our coach was strictly boxing.
Right.
So now you got guys like Rory McDonald.
Yeah, see, and that's what, speaking of which, you're absolutely, nice segue, Mr. Shaw, because
sir.
he is one of the, and what didn't we call his second, I think we called,
when was it?
in Canada with, when he was very young. Anyway.
MFC
George,
or
yeah,
what?
I think up in Prince George or wherever.
Oh, Prince George with the,
But anyway.
Yeah, King of the Kid. That was
Rory
it.
was a kid, like you say.
What's his name was there? The big,
Butterbean.
Butterbean was there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Old school.
But McDonald, you're right. He's he represents the first generation of full-born mixed martial artists. And what about free agency, Mr. Shaw?
Well, I was going to say, how bad does Canada need Rory McDonald to be the
How
champ?
bad do they need their ice hockey teams to do good?
Well, yeah. It's the first time since 1970 that is, if the NHL playoffs were to start today, no Canadian teams.
Dude, Canada's hurting.
Yeah. You're right, with GSP retired, and it's amazing, again, we talk about draws. With the absence of GSP, Canada went from one of the best UFC markets, and it still is, but not even close to as popular as it was.
Well, Toronto's the actual fight capital of the world. People don't know that. Toronto is insane.
55,101.
Remember when he fought there?
Yeah.
So Rory and him being free agent, he's not doing himself any favors. He should have just went,
I don't like the fight with Thompson either.
No, that's what I want to say.
I like it.
You do? For McDonald?
Yes.
Why?
You think he beats
They've
him?
trained together.
Oh,
that's again.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
the big
can go
X
both
factor,
ways.
so Lyoto Machida and I trained together nonstop
Yeah.
all the time. Since I was out in California, trained with him countless rounds. So when I fight him, it's no longer mystery,
Right.
which was his huge X factor.
Right.
Yeah.
Rory and Wonderboy have trained together.
Yes, they
now,
have.
now you can say, well, he has better takedown defense. That's fine. Same stand-up. His
But you don't
stand-up's not
think-
changing.
Yeah.
You don't think the level
Okay.
of beating that McDonald took with Lawler?
That's the
I
X
thought it was
factor.
a very risky thing because I think if Wonderboy stops him,
I think he does.
Oh, he's
But
going
he
title
wrecked
shot.
Hendricks. He wrecked.
Old school Hendricks. I mean, Hendricks hasn't looked the same in quite some time.
Yeah, that's
Hendrick
true.
looked terrible now.
Okay, but see, that's what I'm saying, though. With Rory McDonald, as talented as he is, one of the best, and like you say, in this fight where he'll become a free agent, that's a wild. Test, man.
when I say the UFC doesn't think things through,
but
the
that's-
time they do
but-
is when your contract's up.
But that's again,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
double-edged
yeah.
sword
That's
because
what happened with me
there's
with
Yes.
a
Pancras.
portion of the fans, we want to see the best fight the best, but you're right, you're eliminating contenders, you're eliminating
Canada
draws.
needs Roy.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Canada
right now.
needs Roy. So I think if Roy beats Wonderboy, which, and I love Wonderboy too,
Yeah.
I think Roy gets it done. If it's the old, if the
See, I
same
just
Roy
think
that
Rory's meant. I think
You think he's shot?
I don't even know shot. He was shell shot. I mean, that was the
he knew it was. He got hit,
But the
and he
beating
knew right.
against
Yeah.
Lawler,
That's
I
what I mean.
felt for his safety.
Me too.
Afterwards.
Me
Like,
too.
it was-
There's certain fights, and sometimes fans are like, "Oh, Shab, you just say that because you're cynical UFC."
Sure.
I'm not. There's certain fights I watch. Junior Dos Santos Cain.
Yes.
The second one, I went,
Yes.
"Man,
Oh.
Junior's in trouble, man."
yeah,
that third one, I went, "Oh, he'll never be the same.
Yeah.
No.
He's not the same.
over now.
He's just not, man."
That's what I'm saying with big knockouts or big events happening in your life.
Is
you
Hector
can't change
Lombard
everything.
going to be the same after what Neil Magny and the referee allowed
That's
him
different
to do?
because you're talking about drug testing.
No.
No.
The beatdown. last
No,
time
I'm
Australia-
saying we've never seen him get beat down like that until this drug testing has come
right.
into play.
Because
That's
yeah,
a
now
huge
that's not
factor.
him on
Yeah.
He
drugs,
tested
yeah.
positive for
Yeah, you're
PEDs.
right,
Yep.
This is the
absolutely.
first fight back. We've never seen him so
Right.
exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually he walks through a guy like
Yep.
Neil. Not this time.
way.
So I don't think he's the same. I don't think homeboy, who's his other buddy, looks just like him. They're built like Teenage
Joel
Mutant Ninja.
Romero.
Oh, Joe Romero,
I don't think
yeah.
Romero's the same.
No,
I think drug testing's really changing the game, man. You look at a
good.
lot of fights.
But you see some of these fighters walking around, and I go like, dude, you can tell. You can tell him, and you can give 100%. Like for instance, with Lombard, and Romero, you look at them. That's a simple thing, and
you
you're
can
gonna go,
tell.
okay, they have to be on it. It's like it's a different kind of look. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And fighters can tell. I fought a guy. I mean, he tested positive too after we fought LeVar Johnson. We got on the scale. I looked behind me to Joe Silva, my coach. I went, "Really, really? He might place fourth in Mr. Olympia. What are we doing?"
Yeah.
And everyone, no. All right.
All right. With all due respect, though, to my broadcast partner in New Japan and a guy I admire, and I do like Josh Barnett. He popped 3 times. He'll deny whatever. I mean, I don't want to indict, but Could you tell Josh Barnett was on steroids when he...
No, you can't. No, you can't. But I mean, there's certain
Let me know what he was
fighters
taking,
you can.
because I know not to take that. He looked like shit, and I love Josh.
He does look better now.
He looks way better now. He's off of it. But whatever he was taking, gave him like muffin
and again,
top,
I'm gonna say for the
titties.
record,
He bought it on the
I'm not
internet.
saying he but he popped 3 times. So, but I'm just saying there's certain physiques that...
But you look at the guys who have a losing trend in the UFC, and to me, it's like, yeah, man. Since this drug testing, a lot of guys aren't winning anymore.
Well, you know what you saw a lot is at the weigh-ins, all the veins are gone suddenly.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking like beefed up anymore. It's all toned down.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day
Some can argue. Some can argue it's the IV. No, certain guys go, well, this the IV. I'm like,
no, it's
that
not.
doesn't draw your
It's the
muscle. That
steroids.
doesn't make you a shitty fighter.
Yeah.
So, but I just read the other day because it's coming up on how many months now, but there have been like over hundreds of random drug tests, and I'm glad that it's happening. But you're right. You say the casual fan or the fan is a fighter, they don't care. Maybe a certain segment doesn't, but as long as I'm involved and in a sport where me taking steroids allows me to punch you,
It can affect my lifestyle. I agree. However, if I'm a fan and I don't know anyone and I just want to see knockouts, you want the pride days. When I watch baseball, I want home runs. I want my guy jacked to the gills, just jacking home runs out of the park.
It was Dan Patrick, who well-known sports talk show host during the baseball
he's great.
steroids era. They did a poll on their radio show. He said, if you knew by taking steroids you were going to be the greatest athlete who ever lived, but you'd be dead at 50. Like, you'd make all the money, get all the women, the fame, but 50. Over 80% said they'd do it.
Really?
80.
You see, that's not me.
That's not me either.
That's not me.
That's not me. Especially since I have a kid now.
Well,
No,
Before the
that's a
kid,
big
I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I'll do
you
it.
push everything. No, that
3 years
changes
ago, after coming off a loss, yeah, I'll do it.
No, this guy, when they go into the cage, and before this guy, I rather die in the cage than I will never. I will never. And to me, they ask the question. I say, I'll tap, bro. I'll tap. They go, I'll let myself get choked out. They go, for what? If it's
We're the same. Stitch was telling me, he goes, yeah, man, before Barnett gets in the cage, he goes, let me die in there. I went, that's great, Stitch. Stop that shit as soon as you see me in trouble. Throw that towel in, man. I'm not trying to die in there.
You just brought up another thing.
I want to live, man.
me, I got kids, family.
Yeah.
But you brought up the thing about the Holly Holm Conor McGregor situation, where Holly Holm went out. She was unconscious against Miesha Tate, and then McGregor tapped. So
No, what I said with Conor, what I thought, he gave him the choke.
But should he have tapped? What I'm saying, because
he could have tapped,
should
but
you go out? Why do you want to go unconscious? Why not just tap?
No. It's good that he taps, but he did not even try to defend
Yeah,
it.
there's no defense.
There's no defense whatsoever. You went right away. You go grab behind, see if
I
you can
agree.
peel the arm off.
Peel
if that
one
doesn't
arm.
work, okay, you tap. I'm not.
This is the issue, though, boss. He mentally broke when he shot that bullshit
That's it.
double.
That was it. And
When
then
I
he
saw
got
him
on
shoot, I
top,
went, oh, he broke.
And Nate was sitting up, so he could have easily gone to half guard, but he was at that time he was just hit, dazed, and he wanted out. And that's why he turned on his belly. That's why I told you, because
again, I've been choked
every
out.
fighter knows when you turn on your belly, what's going to happen.
It's game over.
This game over. So put your hand there.
In the pursuit of knowledge and experience, I was choked out by both Vanderlei Silva and Matt Hume. You were there both times.
Couple good guys get choked out by.
Buddy, I'm sorry. I'm tapping like whatever you want to call me.
You know what though?
I need to go out. I don't need to
I think
go out.
Holly didn't tap because she wanted it so bad, and she
Of
thought
course.
she was going to get out. She's a real champ's champ.
But should you be criticized either way, is what I'm saying.
No, you shouldn't. If you,
People
but
criticize Conor McGregor.
it was fast. But I understand. The fighters
What
understand
about
that.
Sage
It's that
Northcutt when he tapped?
when
That
you
was
go
that
with a
was
leg
suspect.
lock or something like that, a choke I can understand, choked out, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. But okay, I can understand it. An arm bar,
Yes.
or a knee bar,
better
I would
tap.
say you better tap.
I agree.
tap.
Otherwise, you're not going to fight
it.
another day.
That's
You're
it.
just not going to fight another day. Man, it's tough. It's tough. I think for Conor to come back, I think this isn't the fight to do it. I think he should have defended his belt at 145 and then just moved on.
Against Edgar at MSG, the biggest pay-per-view.
That's done. So Madison Square Garden, right? It's legal there now.
They want to do 4 events. There, I know Lorenzo Fertitta already said they're targeting the last quarter because it's going to take some time.
You know what I want?
I'd like Weidman there.
I would like a super fight with John Jones and whoever's at heavyweight, or even Weidman, John Jones. Weidman's won that fight.
Yep.
You get 2 New York boys. John Jones, Weidman would
Jones
be sick.
would be on the card for sure. I would
Has
put.
to be.
I think
Frankie
really,
Edgar needs to
well,
be-
that's what I mean.
I mean,
Frankie Edgar McGregor, the first main event. You got Boston, not too far away.
You know what you're not going to get? You're not going to get Conor Frankie if Conor loses Diaz.
That's
I don't
what
want to
I
watch that.
said. If he loses again in the world we live in, it's whatever.
That cool smack talk, that's
Yes.
out the window, man.
Yeah, no, it's gone.
It's not cute anymore.
Backing
You
up.
lose 2 in a row, and then it's like, dude, you
But
can't
that's
talk like
why,
that.
It's
why
done.
why are they putting it together now? Because one thing MMA taught boxing was that a loss shouldn't ruin your career.
Is it 100%
But
going to
back-to-back,
happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what
UFC
they're talking
200.
Yeah,
That's what they
okay,
said.
yes.
But
See,
you
I
know
thought
what?
it was still up in the air, and I go like,
hey,
that's the
I will
dumbest
give
thing I would
credit
do.
to you, Dana, in the past. They've announced fights, and then because of social media pressure, fan pressure, they have changed their minds.
That shows me they don't think it through.
Well, doesn't have a lot of nice things.
Well, they're going
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just. Hey, boss, talk to your boy Dana, man. It just if I'm Conor McGregor's handler, I'm like, this isn't the fight, man.
No,
he's
no.
too big for you.
Yep.
He's just too big for
and
you.
you are, again, if you want to, let's go back to the sport now. You are holding a division hostage. Clean out 145. You got a date with Frankie Edgar. That's going to be a big money fight. Already people want to see the fight. So give Frankie Edgar his title shot at 145. See what happens and go from there.
You can't do
thumbing your
Conor
nose.
dos Anjos.
No.
That's his worst matchup.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's worse than Diaz for him.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Because he
After
got
seeing him against Diaz, it's
one
just
piece.
not happening.
Yeah,
Full
and then
speed.
they talked about Robbie Lawler at 170. Come on, man. Enough. Like,
You know what's crazy?
do
I was eating the Lucky Charms. I was like, yeah, he can beat Lawler. Yeah, he can beat Dos Anjos. Then I saw him against Diaz. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I was under the Irish
Well, but
trance.
it's not even
No, me
being
too.
an idiot
I thought-
because he is very good at what, but everything has to be within reason. What I'm saying is, you guys know, I think what one championship is doing in Asia is the thing. Extreme weight cutting, gotta go.
Has to go.
Has to go. So if McGregor 155, then full training camp. Who knows against Dos Anjos? Maybe it would have been a different fight. But you're jumping from 145 up to 170 short notice against a guy known for a strong chin, wicked ground game. Come
And great
on.
stamina.
Great
I agree.
stamina. Come
and,
on.
and a big guy, man.
Come
A
on.
big guy for Conor.
The biggest and tallest and longest he's faced.
We'll get to current events, but let's switch gears here. You being a boxing guy, I think right now is the best boxing has been in a long. I don't know if you keep up with
Yeah,
boxing,
boxing is
Boss.
getting better.
It's.
Yep.
I think it's great
It's
right
good.
now.
Well,
I,
but
I-
Again,
I-
with Triple G, it
But
gets
that's
us
the
a
thing.
few
It's
guys.
the absence of Floyd Mayweather now looking for the
sport's
next
better.
pay-per-view star.
The sport's
I agree.
better.
Well, for the 147 class.
For
we
everyone.
have this a fight with Keith Thurman and Sean Porter that was supposed to happen March 12th, now coming up June 25th.
Thurman got in a car wreck,
yes,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be on CBS prime time. So there you go, taking a page out of what the PBC's been doing. When you say it's better, I think you have Triple G, who's definitely caught the attention of the casual fan. Canelo Alvarez,
Yep.
who unfortunately jumped ship from my beloved Showtime to HBO. But look at this. He's got a fight against Amir Khan coming
It's a
up.
tough fight.
No, come
No,
on.
I think-
That to me is like Diaz McGregor all over
Oh,
again.
come on, Mauro.
Khan is a guy with a. I love Khan.
Glass
Good
chin,
chin,
he's been knocked
glass
out
chin.
twice.
And buddy, look where he's fought majority of his career, 140. Now just getting settled at 147. He's going up to 155.
Yeah, he's
to
gonna have
face
a
one of
problem.
the hardest hitters.
It's a
in the
tough fight.
sport.
It's a tough fight. Have you seen them next to each other?
Oh.
Canelo's not that much bigger.
No, but I've also called Canelo's fights, and I think Canelo not much bigger, much more power
hitter
and punch resistance.
You know what? But
Mine
what's
bigger.
Yes.
but yes, mine's better. But what's Canelo's Achilles heel? Speed.
Speed.
What's Con have?
100%. No,
Speed.
and that's the
Did-
storyline. That's the narrative, and I know what you're saying. But honestly, I think it's an easy win.
Oh, I
for-
disagree.
Did you see that thing with Con?
We got to bet on
Wow,
that.
yeah, we might do that.
Did you guys see that Twitter post from Con when he balances the
Yes.
ball?
Oh, buddy,
You
he
think
does
that's
some
real
wicked
or what?
stuff. No,
is-
I've seen him.
Or-
I've seen him
Is that
do
real?
stuff with
I thought it was Photoshop.
No, Amir Khan does a lot of unbelievable tricks, like with candles and with the punches.
Hand-eye coordination is
he's-
unbelievable.
No, he is an incredible
He's
talent.
way faster
Yeah.
than Canelo.
Incredible.
And he has a lot of experience. Who's the best guy Canelo's beat?
Canelo right now.
Name the best guy
it's-
he's beat.
I mean, Amir Khan
Cotto?
is the next.
By
Canelo.
far his toughest challenge.
Yeah. In
you
Floyd
could-
Mayweather, he obviously tried to. Wrong
got
game plan
destroyed.
against
Destroyed.
Mayweather.
He's
he
too
tried
slow.
to box with him.
Way
Couldn't
too
do
slow.
that. But James Kirkland, he destroyed,
James Kirkland.
which
Who's the Cuban kid he fought?
what's Austin
Went to decision.
Yeah, darn it.
I don't even know if he won that fight.
I'm trying to compartmentalize everything. I'm still on WWE
Yeah.
time. See, this is one of the perils of how much I do. It's like, okay, today is what? Today's WWE
MMA.
Day. Tomorrow's Inside MMA Day.
You're
next
too
day,
into the
Ronda
fight game.
Rousey Day.
You're in the
The
fight
next day,
matrix.
It's UFC. There's Bellator. There's one. But yeah, no. Canelo,
I'm just saying,
We're
as far
taking
as
the green pill.
Canelo battle tested, it's just not
limitless.
limitless. He's just not battle tested for me. I think
Okay.
Khan's a tough fight for him.
All right, I just.
And then we can leave that alone.
Yep.
How about the heavyweight division?
Whoa, see what happened?
Wilder.
Cut off the head of the snake. The Klitschko's held the division hostage. I think Vladimir Klitschko, history will be much kinder to him. One of the more dominating champions we've had. But
One of
again,
my faves.
a guy who was never really all that entertaining. The jab and grab and he never really built a fan base here in America because of that. But huge
Never.
in Germany and Europe. And then here comes Tyson Fury. One of the worst fights ever. When the heavyweight
yes,
champion,
yes.
when the heavyweight champion totals a deck of cards worth of punches. 52 landed punches in 12 rounds.
It's tough. But you know what makes up for it? His personality. When he grabbed the mic, started singing to his girl.
Dude,
I loved it.
that.
I loved
Me too.
it. Me and Boss are the same.
Yeah.
That's what happened in January at the
He doesn't
Barclays
care.
Center. When Deontay Wilder knocked
Yes.
out Carter Spielka, he and Fury had a WWE type
Yes.
showdown. And you're right, there's now a new energy to the heavyweight
And
division.
the dark horse with all of it, Anthony Joshua,
Oh, good for
out
you,
of
my man.
England.
He's gonna
Snatch.
fight
It's like the
Charles
gypsies
Martin.
there.
Yes, he's fighting Charles Martin, April 9 on Showtime.
And that thing sold. This is how big it would draw
90
Anthony
seconds.
Joshua. Gold medalist in the Olympics.
yep.
The guy's fighting
Way
Martin.
to go, Brendan Shaw.
Oh, yeah, I know my boxing, man.
Woo.
But the guy's fighting Martin.
I called this fight. He won because
You
of
won because the guy
injury.
rolled his ankle. And then you guys interview him. He goes, he felt the power and he dropped.
And
I
you
went,
saw the replay. And
he didn't even hit him. And then his coach goes, no, you can see he was breaking. Nah, that was the easiest world title of all time.
Okay, but bring it back because I didn't know what happened.
His opponent he threw a punch in the third round, I think it was, and Glasgow went down, rolled his ankle, got hurt. They stopped the fight. TKO for the injury.
yeah.
But it looks like he landed a left hook.
and
With
that's
this
why he
angle,
buckled.
It's
Yeah,
literally
no,
this
no.
far off,
It was
and the guy rolls his ankle.
It's
But
a
you know
movie
what?
punch.
Yes.
You know what? Charles
the
Martin,
wrong
God
camera
bless
angle.
him, gets the biggest payday of his life, millions of dollars. Michael King, who is no longer with us from King World, who
Love Michael
here's a guy
King.
who took his money and invested it in looking for the next great American
Very
heavyweight.
nice.
And here he doesn't even get to live to see Charles Martin, who by hook or by crook is a heavyweight champion. Boxing's biggest problem, though, Brendan. How many? It's like Ray Mancini once said, how many worlds are there? How many world champions in boxing?
That's the issue with
It's
boxing.
ridiculous.
That's the issue with boxing. But
That's why they have no weight cutting problems because they
it's
have
true.
like 80 weight
That's
classes.
the issue, and with Manny basically being done and him
You
making
like
the
the
gay
Bradley
comments.
fight? Third time? Why?
I would rather watch Misha Ronda 7. I mean, that fight is so boring.
I
It
agree.
does nothing.
When does a trainer, and all due respect to Teddy Atlas, one of the best trainers, but when does, I heard someone, was it on our show, someone said they want to watch, they're intrigued by the fight to see what Teddy Atlas can do with Timothy Bradley. What?
What does it even mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
We've seen Manny Pacquiao beat him twice, even
Yeah.
though the
It
first
makes
time was
zero
one of the great
sense.
rounds. No.
Yeah.
And this is, again, well, it's like Floyd Mayweather fighting Andre Berto in what was his last fight. I mean, come on.
It makes zero sense,
Yeah.
man.
Is he coming back, Mr. Mayweather, for the money?
Well, in 2 years,
There's no one
broke.
for him to fight. Yeah, and he'll be broke in 2 years buying all these Maybachs. But there's no one left for him to fight.
88 white sports cars. 88. He has a fleet. He calls it the candy shop.
Yeah, it can't be good. It's just
You know
not
what?
smart.
You know what I think? What I
No.
think you're a complete idiot if you do things like that. I think if you do that, first of all, you're never going to drive him. Second of all, you're wasting a lot. Do something good with it. Give it to charity.
Thank you. I
Do
agree.
something.
Talking about Floyd
with it.
Mayweather here.
Oh,
He could care less about
You
charity,
remember?
man.
I
He's
saw
a bad person.
24/7, whatever you called him for
Yeah,
boxing,
yeah, he was a little
and you
first.
saw Pacquiao. He brought in like these big turkeys for the
Yeah, oh,
homeless
yeah, the
people,
homeless, yeah.
and then everybody recognized the people from the what is it, kitchen.
Yeah.
They recognize him by the name. Hey, what's up? Then Mayweather starts doing that too. And literally, everybody's like, "Who's this
Yeah.
guy?"
Everyone like, what the
nobody
hell are
ever
you
saw
doing,
this
man?
guy.
To be fair,
Is
it
there
was like-
poison in those things?
But
Yeah.
there are people who will, vouch for Mayweather, what he does for his, people, so to speak. But yeah, he's
for an
going to go
entourage,
down
come
as
on.
one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time.
Oh, he's top
That's it.
three. He's
One of the
top three
best.
pound for pound.
But,
Oh,
but
he's-
yeah,
he's
he
great.
Was smart,
No, he's great.
Man. He was smart.
Outside the
He's
ring, not so
not
smart.
No.
We'll get to World Series of Fighting with you, boss, and then we'll jump into current events, then fan questions, get you guys out of here. But World Series of Fighting, Justin Gaethje.
Boom.
How does this kid stack up to the rest of the competition? Because World Series of Fighting, it is a small subculture of MMA. There's not a ton of competition. It's not like he's fighting the best in the world. But I started with Justin in Denver when he was just coming from wrestling. When his head coach was Leister Bowling. He's such a freak athlete and has zero fear. However, the way he fights, how he plants his feet in slugs, it's trouble, man.
That's it.
That's what he said.
It's exactly what, if he wants to be a free agent, if that's going to happen, he's got to watch out. He needs to change his fighting style. And Trevor Whitman, I know him. He's a very good coach.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you he tells me that every freaking day. But it's just a fighter's mentality. I had some fighters like that. Benji Radek, you can tell, hey, step in and step out. He won't do it. He wants to brawl. Well, one time that he did it was in the IFL that everybody was going, dude, he looks like a professional kickboxer. I said, because first time he listened. And with him, this is important because if he goes in, he stays in. He doesn't move out. So he can always, or many times he gets hit on going back out of the shooting range. And that's a dangerous thing if he takes too many shots as those.
Well,
and against Gillard, he had the hardest time.
Yeah.
And he was not even in the top 10 at
Well,
the time.
what did he say when he got the mic after he beat to leg kicks? He beat
the last one, Brian.
Foster.
Foster,
Brian
Foster, who's from Denver, trains out of Denver
He
too.
also was in Glory Kickboxing.
That was fast,
for a
actually, in
couple
one
times.
round.
with the leg kicks, but he gets the mic and he goes, "Good luck backing me up. Anyone who comes forward, I'll meet you in the middle of the cage."
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's gonna get you beat at a high level, my man.
But that's the thing, yep. And it's going to be dangerous because there's going to be that one time, and all the fighters that we know had him, who could take a great shot, and there's that one time when it starts, boom, and suddenly it all goes downhill from there. That's the only thing. He's got all the talent in the world. He could be the best.
I agree.
mean, his wrestling, his power, it's insane. His kicks, his knees,
Work
really
ethic.
good. It's the only thing he needs to do is move in and out. That's really the only thing he hits to do.
he
And
almost
he's
has
gonna be gold.
too much fighting him. When I watch him, I'm like, you know, because
Yeah.
he's destroying these basically B-level guys. He's destroying them.
Yep.
But you get with a big top 10 guy in the world, he's not going to be there for you to hit like that.
Yeah.
How about-
Donald
how about
Cerrone,
that- how about that
you gotta-
Strike Force, you guys. What is it now? 5 Strike Force alums, UFC champions. Just wanted to put that in there. But
Oh, you want to
Strike
come
Force is
I
killing
did
it.
some commentating jobs for them as well. I can now. Can we hold
See,
hands now?
but
Also?
we can go back to that, but
No, continue. I was
no.
joking.
What's weird to me about Scott Coker is Strikeforce was such a good product.
Yeah.
You watch Strikeforce, like Kimbo, right? There was no freak show. There was no freak show.
No.
He used him.
it to build the Daniel Cormier, the Luke
Exactly.
Rockholds, the Ronda
Why not do
Rouseys,
that?
the Gilbert
Why not do that
Melendez.
now?
And that's-
Why not do that now? Like, why not have Kimbo and Dada first fight of the night?
Okay, but
Have
wait a minute.
Hoist Ken co-main event. Have your young guys. Maybe have Ben
But didn't
Henderson,
they- I think
Phil
they did that.
Davis.
I think they did that in their show, which was the opposite of the UFC. If you remember the Bellator show with Shamrock and
Kickboxing
Gracie.
and-
No, but the first 3 fights were great, and then the main ones were disaster. Whereas the last UFC, the first 3 fights, you and I were like, "What's going on here?" And then the last 2 were the.
They're kind of doing
drama.
out. If I'm Bellator and I'm trying to keep my head above water, granted the ratings are great, all that stuff.
they're a TV
What they
company.
need to do, and they have the money for it, they don't have to put on all these shows.
agents.
Yep.
They don't have to put on all these shows. They should do it like the UFC used to do and just stack every card.
But don't you think it's happening now? How free agency is going to become a thing with Benson Henderson, Matt Mitrione. I think Rory McDonald's already said he wants to get
And
paid.
Benson, he said
I
he got a
think-
lot
and
of text
wouldn't it
messages
help?
from all
I mean,
fighters that asked him questions.
That's what I mean. Going back
Phil
to
Davis
the
was
Monday
the
Night
first.
War, WWE, WCW. When there's competition, especially in this country,
It's good.
That's good for you guys. Good for the fighter.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot more free agents, a lot more younger guys.
A bigger name to really make a difference.
You need a guy like Conor. You need like a Ronda-ish. You need like a Brock Lesnar type to go over there to bring more people up. Because it's still not. It's
Although-
nowhere near UFC. It's just
No,
not.
no.
But there have been you're right, absolutely not in terms of quality. But I do believe that Scott Coker gets, like you said, what a promoter is. What the model for any other regional promotion, I think, should be the Strikeforce model. You begin, and granted,
Yeah, but he did
granted,
his
they had
whole life.
American
He did that,
Kickboxing
correct.
Academy in San Jose, one of the best gyms to produce
Scott Coker
But
to
he
me.
knows how to
Scott
find
Coker
But he
to
did
me.
already in kickboxing.
Yeah,
you know,
Scott
he's very
Coker to me
smart.
is the best promoter
yeah,
in the
that's
world.
100%.
You look at his history.
He knows how to promote.
You look at his history. He's by far the best
Yeah.
that I think I've seen in my lifetime.
And
He's a beast.
I hope
He doesn't fail.
I think the fighters and I think even the fans, we need that variety. And that's where I think that UFC made a mistake in terms of when they bought Strikeforce and even WC and all that. And Pride. They should have run it as their competition.
I agree.
Strikeforce especially. I just don't understand where you could have 200, 250 of the best in the UFC, the next 200 or so at a strike force, build it up, whereas once a year, okay, here's our Super Bowl, here's
like
our...
an AFC,
Well, there
NFC,
you go,
and then you
man.
do this
There you
mega
go.
what
fight.
everybody
Because you
does.
create
And you
these
create
superstars in
stars,
strike force, and you
absolutely.
have their own PR team. You
100%.
have UFC's own, and then they
No,
mix.
Kenny said right away. Kenny Rice at the time. He said it's not going to happen. But in 2 months, it's gone.
Oh,
They
of
got
course.
it.
No,
Business as usual.
that's what they're doing.
Business as
Yep.
usual.
But what's good for Bellator, the positive thing for fighters out of this Reebok deal
Yeah.
is Bellator.
Oh.
Because now you can go there, have all your
Josh
sponsors.
Thompson went there and got his sponsor, like you say, and you're right. There have been certain steps that leave me scratching my head, going, "Can you give these guys a bone?" As you were in the octagon where the banners used to be. Okay, so they allow you to have the banner, not anymore. But did you see the main piece of real estate? It would be UFC 176. It's not even giving you the best piece of real estate
No,
on TV.
my issue is now the octagon's a NASCAR.
Yeah.
It looks like a NASCAR.
Yeah.
And then I see the fighters, they just have Reebok on. I'm like, dang, who's
Yeah.
getting paid here, man?
Are they getting
yeah.
paid? Are you happy with that Reebok deal? Are your friends happy in the UFC with
No,
the Reebok deal?
I'm not. I've not heard one good thing from it.
No,
Never.
Yep.
But again, it's a learning curve. They have to. They thought they were trying to head in a more professional direction with the NFL, NBA, but the payout is just insane. Again, I don't know how much thought went into signing this deal.
Yeah, because 70 million a
Yeah,
year or whatever
yeah,
they said,
yeah.
it sounds like a lot, but if you spread it out over the fight, it's going to be literally like 60,000 I hear from the main card.
Silly. Really?
Yeah,
You're gonna
but
give Anderson Silva 15 grand? The GOAT 15 grand
15,000?
from Reebok.
Did he beat Michael Bisping? Boss and I.
No, he didn't.
Good.
And
Yeah, we
you
said
know
the same thing.
you know why? Because
Yep.
when he it's Bisping's fault when he pointed his
Yes.
mouthpiece
Yeah.
Yes,
and
I
he
agree.
threw that
I
knee,
agree.
right?
That could have finished it
But
there.
the reason why it was smart not to
counted,
stop
yeah.
it is because Bisping whooped his ass that
Yes,
fourth round.
yes,
Put it on him.
yes.
Yeah.
Just completely
Could it
dominated.
have been a draw? John McCarthy convinced us.
No,
that
no,
could
he
have
said
been-
it could have been a 10-8 round. But I said maybe the judge,
Okay.
because he was looking.
right?
But what about what was the second round when Bisping dropped him with the hook?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
How's
right.
that not a
but,
10-8?
But he was
Damage.
not out. Bisping was
I
out.
agree, in boxing
If
it would
after the knee, if there wouldn't have been a break, fight would have been over.
True.
That's true, and that was not with.
that's You
saved
when
by
he-
the bell.
Yeah.
Saved by the
So,
bell.
but that was not with Anderson. Anderson, he fell, but right away he came with an
I
up
agree.
kick.
Amber
So
Thiessen.
he was 100%.
But you look at the strike comp numbers. The
Dustin
strike comp numbers,
Diamond.
they're insane. I mean, Bisping beat
Just
his
put it
ass.
on- that's
He
it.
put a boxing clinic on him.
Oh, big time. No, I'm just it's Saved by the Bell, so I'm shouting out the actors who were on the show, and she kind of got it over there.
Oh, we're saved by the bell. Hey, Evan, the body, the cub, the beard had to take off, so Keely's doing current events for us.
All right, don't let him get.
All right,
too
let's
much
go to
out of
current
me.
events.
All right.
Special K.
So we'll stick with the fighting theme. It looks like Metamoris is $200K in debt, and Halleck Gracie says that he'll do MMA fights to help pay it off.
Well,
Will he get paid $200,000?
maybe in Risen or some shit. Like maybe he has
But
a
even
plan.
there, can they do it?
I have
Risen
no
now?
idea.
The great. I mean, all
is
due
he still
respect.
relevant?
Yeah,
Or
that's what I was
is that
gonna say.
name? Because it's not like the Pride Days where
Well,
Gracie
no.
could go off his name, make a whatever 500
Hey,
grand.
and wait a minute. Surprising that Metamoris is in debt when you ban the media and ban all your market advertising for the show.
This is
Yeah.
where they went wrong, and I compete in Metamoris.
Yeah, I know you did. I
I've
was
been
there. I watched the
yeah. There
show.
you
I
go.
was at the show.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. You know what? I'll give you a refund after the show. You talking about the shop shutdown against the #1 grappler in the world? The guy who went 20 minutes with me couldn't do shit.
shop shutdown.
The shop shutdown.
Sharp shutdown. Oh, that's a new T-shirt.
But the thing is
It was boring stuff, dude.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Just all of
it's really
boring,
tough. But
boring.
Halleck shouldn't be running that ship.
Well.
He should maybe be the matchmaker and step out. The problem is when you give a young guy like that with no business experience
Yeah.
all this freedom to run a company, especially when there's nothing like it, that's the problem.
And I went to
man.
like I think 2 or 3 events, always all 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And again, respect. I love grappling. I love that. That's the mixed martial arts. I remember we used to
It's
always
my
defend it.
passion,
I know, I love
and
it.
I was
To me,
bored
it's
as
beautiful.
into
That's-
No.
tears.
Once it
Watch
happens with the geese, it slows down
but the
dramatically.
rules
Without
should've
the
been
gi,
changed.
it's really
But that's
great.
what I mean,
Have
but
you
the
ever seen
rules-
EBI?
Oh yeah,
Have you seen Eddie Bravos?
Absolutely.
They do.
man. No,
I think
no,
they do
love
it like 8
Eddie
minutes
gets it.
regular, and then
Eddie
they do it
gets
overtime,
No, I
where
agree.
you start on their back,
Yep.
start in an arm
I
bar.
like that.
Oh, nice. I like that.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, but you see, but I like when it goes fast. All the fights that they had without the gi, because I
Right.
commentated on one show of them for Metamoris, that was super. I mean,
Sure.
they were flying all over the place. But
Sure.
sometimes, so you know, where you have two really great
hey-
black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they're with the jackets and they're holding each other
Yeah.
the sleeves the whole time. That's not
What
for
I
me.
will
Can't
give
do
them
it.
credit for, the presentation production was great. The venue.
That's why they're in debt.
Oh, yeah.
You're
That's why they're in debt. That's like a local show trying to put on a Pride. That's
I'm
like
looking at you, Elite XC.
Affliction.
That's where I.
Hey, I'm looking at you, Affliction.
Yes.
That's where I saw Sakuraba.
I'm looking at you, IFL.
And then we heard, and that's why I was, before they announced, I said, Fedor's going to fight again. That was because I put it all together. So Saki Kabara was there
right.
at the Metamoris, and then suddenly I hear Fedor's
you're
coming
right,
back.
see?
I go, okay, that's it. That's
They
the link
spent
here.
all this money. It looked good, but what the entertainment value for me, again, as a diehard person who loves this business and sport, I was bored to tears.
I knew the guys competing, and I was like, damn, this is not good.
Yeah.
I competed, and I was like, man,
like
this is boring.
Catch
You know, and the
wrestling
thing
back
is
in
also
the
when
day.
you do commentating, it's like almost in Japan
golf,
because
you gotta do golf.
no, there's like 8 people behind you,
that's what I mean.
and that's it. So you can't even crack a
golf
joke
announcer.
because normally I would still start telling a joke or something, but then the fighters hear the joke, and I don't think that's a
Dude, you
great thing
can't
to
do
do.
it. Brian and I, you know, Brian, I think maybe a white belt or blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Tomorrow we have to fly to Austin, and we're doing play-by-play for this On It Invitational Jiu-Jitsu
nice.
tournament.
Oh, very cool.
I guess, you know, but I told them
online. Is it online or on
it's
TV
online.
or-
Yeah,
With
it's
a
online.
gi?
I gotta check it
But
out.
it's no gi. But I
Okay,
told
good,
them, I
good.
said, listen. We have to be ourselves.
Yeah,
we can't be breaking down 50-50 and all this stuff. We got to tell
Elevator
jokes,
suite.
have fun.
Yeah.
They go, do your thing. man.
The
Yeah.
De La Riva card.
Oh,
That will make it a
God.
big show, actually.
Yes.
You watch.
for sure.
People are gonna love it.
It's like the mystery. What is it? The theater mystery theater 2000, where stuff that people wouldn't really get into.
Yeah.
It's on the quips and the
You have
the
to.
commentary. You
You
have
have
to make
to.
it entertaining. Absolutely.
What else you got, Kay? Metamoris, they're in trouble if that's the game
Well,
plan.
Yeah.
They need to undergo a metamorphosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the MMA being legal in New York,
Woo!
but apparently there's this video. Have you guys seen the Twitter video? During the course of the assembly vote, there's a lot of New York politicians that were talking, like, making ignorant comments about what really MMA is. And
Wow.
Did you guys see
haven't
this?
Oh,
seen
I
that
heard.
yet.
I heard the guy
haven't heard
who
it
said
yet.
the gay guy, right?
He's Rosie O'Donnell's brother.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's just two sweaty guys getting together.
It should turn me on, he said.
Well, the fact it was what was the vote? 25 against, 23, 25 against, whatever it was. The fact that happened
That's
in this
insane.
day and
That's
age makes me
insane.
go.
No, that's
Oh, no. Wait
that's what our government is like.
I'm going
That's
to
it.
text you guys, or I'll tweet the video out.
idiots.
When you
Yeah. Well, I
watch
wanna
the
see it.
video, it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, how are these people functioning?
No,
when
but
you
it-
listen to them talk, you're like, holy
No, but these
balls.
people have no freaking clue about
No
life.
idea.
They
You
don't.
got the vote.
All right, show
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Oh, we want to show the video. Yeah. Because there's
And
just
this is Rosie
idiots.
O'Donnell's,
They've been
It's a
bullied in
bunch of
school
them.
as a kid, and this is their payback. They're going to be the government.
What year is this?
Bare knuckles. It's not even bare knuckles.
It's human cockfighting.
Yeah, it's all
How-
the same
how
stuff.
ridiculous is that?
Bare knuckle. It's not even bare knuckle. So they
ridiculous
don't
is
even
that?
do the homework. You know,
That's
the-
what I
you-
mean. That's
Those
a
people should be
politician for
put
you.
down.
No, but this is the thing. This is the thing. Okay, no, this is the government we're talking about. So if they do this about MMA, you know they do this with everything.
Everything.
Gun control, whatever.
Everything.
They don't care. They
Well,
just
that's
they don't
been,
want to say no to the people above them
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
so they say, oh
last
yes, oh
week
yes, oh
Tonight
yes.
With John Oliver on HBO, great show if you haven't seen
What
it
is
yet.
it?
Last week tonight,
Oh,
John
yeah.
Oliver used
Yeah,
to do the daily. He did a thing similar on politicians where there's video where you're supposed to vote for yourself and people are reaching over desks to vote for their colleagues and then voting again over here. Like, it's all corrupt, man.
Yeah, no, it is.
Anytime money is how come the UFC or MMA hasn't been allowed since '97?
That's the
Hey, Shelly
corruption.
Silver.
Silva,
Hey,
yeah.
Shelly Silver. How
Yeah.
are you?
That's
Mr.
it.
Corrupt
It's
little
crazy.
bastard.
It's
But
crazy.
that's right. He got caught now, and
Yeah, he's out.
it's
Now
true.
we're in.
Yeah.
Boom.
Silver
what else
lining.
you got, Kay?
Okay. Tiffany Van Soest is selling her championship belts to pay her bills. The Lion Fights haven't paid her for her championship fight 2 months ago.
Yeah,
you're
she
in
posted
Access
that, then
TV
she took it
Fights.
off right away, and I heard the next day that she got paid. So that was online because I saw it. And then I
How
said-
long did it take for her to get paid, though? Like, did they just pay her because you post that?
Yeah,
Like, shit,
that's-
we're under
You know,
pressure,
you
let's
see,
pay.
yeah. So maybe that, of course, that was the reason she
I know,
did it.
but when are we going to? I mean, and I know again it's tough.
Listen,
because
I didn't get
Access
paid by-
TV fights.
Yeah,
Alliance
that's
fights
your
are
guys'
fine.
network.
I know, I understand, but I'm just saying when Why do people get into this business in the first place knowing how difficult it is? Everyone, I remember, and I've been a part of it. How many companies, boss, have I worked for that have gone under quickly? Oh, we're going to do what the UFC does. If they can do it, we can do it. Remember Pride? Pride Fighting Championships had an opportunity to come to North America right before the inaugural Ultimate Fighter, which was held by WWE as the lead-in on Spike in 2005. Nice. Remember what they said to you, boss?
No, we don't need it.
Well, wait. They said, we'll wait for the UFC to fail, and then we'll go in.
You know what? And also with them, right? I've been asking for years because they denied Pride. They denied Pride here at the Athletic Commission. So I said, let me talk. Let me speak there one time. They didn't know. No. They got all crazy. I say, why don't you let me go in front of these people one time? We go there. On the spot, they changed the rule. Boom. Now they're in America. But I said, you could have done me 3 years ago. Yeah. It would have been a big deal.
Know what it is?
Now it wasn't. UFC was way too big.
And ego. And these guys, and again, not to besmirch the name Alliance Fight, I don't know anything about, but I know enough
Scott
promoters.
Ged's a good guy.
I know enough promoters,
everybody.
though, that if you're going to, if you can't afford it, or if you're not doing it, then just don't do it.
Sometimes things happen also.
I'm owed money by the Muay Thai Premier League. You remember that?
Oh, I owe money by people.
Bro, from my last fight, I'm still missing 37 grand.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful I have this where it's not an issue.
But I don't understand that.
That's the fight game, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was an argument Dana had for Reebok. How many of you guys get cheated out of money?
Well,
Reebok's gonna pay
That's
for
true.
sure. Hey, man, I'll take my chances getting that 37 grand back. Then Reebok paying me $5, and I have to wear these damn Reebok pumps all day. You know?
Wow.
And that's the other thing. Who designed these unis? I mean,
It's
there's so
tough,
much
man.
cool stuff
Again, not
out
a lot
there.
of thought. But again,
we should have got on, someone with fashion sense.
you can't screw over Tiff Timebomb though.
No.
I can't be your friend if you. I love Tiff Timebomb.
That's it. Tiff Time is better. You know why?
I like
Also,
her too.
she's half Dutch. Her parents. I spoke to her parents. Yeah.
If you're
Can't
not
screw
Dutch,
her
you're not
over and be
Dutch.
my
awesome.
friend.
No,
I'm
no,
a
I
Tiff
like her.
fan.
No, she's great.
How about her in MMA? I know she's a
She's been thinking about it already, and she said on Inside MMA that she was. See how I did that?
You gotta be tough. You gotta be careful with that.
Friday, March 25th.
Maybe
12:30
tomorrow when we do our
Pacific.
show for the first time together
Right.
Inside MMA
Right.
on Access TV. Maybe
Yes.
then we
Yes.
can talk about that.
That's true. Save it for that. You guys gotta have Brian and I
Time
on,
order.
man. That'd be
Absolutely.
fun.
Whoa,
Yeah, that'd be
time.
fun.
I would love to.
What else you got, Kay?
Okay, this is the last one, and it's pretty depressing. But
Oh man.
ISIS is claiming another responsibility for the Brussels terror attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more than 30 dead, 100 injured, and there's 3 people, 2 suspects carried out, died. 1 suspect still
I
on
saw
the
the
loose.
video.
Who brought the good news, Bear?
Yeah. Well, they grabbed the guy now who was responsible, right? They're
caught
going
him,
to get
right?
a lot of information.
But
out
you
of
know
him.
why?
You know,
Because
it's
of
gonna-
the cab driver. And this is what has to happen. People have to become more. We have to start policing ourselves, and I think we're all doing a better job.
Just
with the
like in
Amber
Israel
Alerts.
they're doing.
No, but
That's
we
what
have
we need to
start
do here.
helping our neighbor again. I grew up knowing everyone on my street. I can tell you right now, I don't know who lives next door to me.
I agree.
Situational awareness everywhere you go. If I have a bag, if I do this, if I do this at an Israeli airport, I put it down and walk
I'm
away.
gonna kick you in the face.
So right away, they're
I'm
there.
gonna kick you right in the face, boss. I'm gonna attack you.
Because we're not going to go.
Yeah,
But
man.
obviously,
Those guys showed up with 1 glove each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I see you wearing 1 glove, I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Michael
here?
Jackson.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Michael.
People have to be aware.
But you know what is also very scary? I was on the first plane out of my hometown in Abbotsford after 9/11, 2001, and it hurts me to say this now aloud, but I will admit, I'm not going to lie. When I saw people, whether they were wearing turban, like when I saw someone who looked different on that flight, for a split moment, I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So I don't know if it's the media, I don't know what it was, but already I'm profiling.
I think that's
And not
natural.
right.
No, it's
I,
not
I-
natural.
I think
That's
it's
not right.
natural. You know, in the movie theaters, I sit in the back. You know who I profile? White guys.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that shoot up movie theaters. I see a white guy with a backpack on. I'm like, oh,
But
shit.
what a,
Yeah.
But then again, what
It's-
role does what we do? We're all in the media here, but again, why? You know, there's a lot of fear mongering, but this is now what's happened. So what can we do? What can be done to curtail terrorism, or do we just send the
gotta
entire
put-
UFC roster and Bellator's roster and all combat sports athletes to get rid of these guys?
And then we're going to get killed really fast because we have
Super
no
fast.
control how to shoot. No, we sent the best teams over there. They need to put boots on the ground. That's
Just
what needs
send
to
Tim
happen.
Kennedy, yeah.
And just destroy these
Tim
people
Kennedy,
there.
right.
Let everybody know
Ryan Stann.
what you're
See,
dealing
we
with.
got a
Because
lot
that's the
of
last time
military.
attack in Paris, they said they were going to do it, right?
They've been bombing them.
They've been bombing them.
We
you know, but-
haven't really, but
Yeah, well, I heard that America did the most, actually, and that's a really sad part. That's what Trump said yesterday. He said, but Europe way less. They said even France, everybody, that's way less. Apparently, the airstrikes are the most from the United States.
I don't have an answer because you can't say, well, let's cut out, like Trump wants to do, let's cut out all Muslims and don't let any refugees in. Man, it's less than 1% are extremists.
Yeah, but this is
What about Christians? Christians do most of the killing with guns here in America. So you just cut out Christians? You can't do that.
No. Well, I have a solution, and that's if you're a first-time subscriber to the WWE Network, I invite you to go to the WWENetwork.com right now. Start your free month that includes WrestleMania a week from Sunday at Dallas, in Arlington, Texas, at Cowboy Stadium. Only on the WWE.
Hey, what was that website again?
One more time.
WWENetwork.com. I will be there with my two brothers enjoying my first WrestleMania. I invite you to join me.
Boom.
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring, ISIS.
What ISIS, what I say, do the same thing what they do. I think that was going to help a lot. Oh, they cut heads off? Okay, you get the guy, put him on TV, cut his head off. You know, I know it's really bad to say, but it's the only thing these people
you got to get ruthless, man.
You got to
being too nice.
Because they're going to go, you're not even allowed to waterboard them.
Yeah, there has to be repercussions. If you're going to act like this, if an American gets a hold of you.
Now, this new guy, be quiet, otherwise I'll low kick you again. I did that before.
Just give him a liver shot, boss.
Now I lost my whole
That's good. I'm
train of
glad
thought.
because this conversation is getting crazy.
What do you want to think about that?
Hey,
I think, honestly, we should build walls. Big, tall walls to keep everybody
What
up.
I wanted to say.
So no one comes in.
I'm joking. No, the guy's already singing. You know, he's talking to the cops, the guy that they caught, because they're all afraid. You know, it's easy for them to dish out, but once you go like a Saddam Hussein, you know, I mean, this guy was like he ratted everybody out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the people you're dealing with. They kill innocent people, women, children, they don't care. You know, and it's all by the push of the bomb if they're far away. You know, and let's not get it. And these guys who blow themselves up, well, they do it because they listen to other guys who don't want to do it themselves, and they let them do it. And for some reason, they don't see it.
Think about that.
It's wrong.
Think about how stupid if you're in a group and they go, if it's the three of us and I'm planning this freaking suicide bomb, I go, all right, boss, Mauro, you guys blow each other up. I'm just going to take off because I designed
You guys
it.
first.
I'm like, no, wait, no, you do it.
No, especially after they tell you what you're gonna get in heaven, you know. But then you still, and then you know, isn't it maybe it's the other way around? You know, maybe you're
maybe you.
and you got these animals there. I don't know. If you, I just say, if once you start killing people for not a real belief, because I don't believe that.
I think you got to put fear in them. I agree, boss, but there has to be some legit point there. I'll change subjects now. Maybe you can help me with this. When I was a kid, I enjoyed professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I enjoyed WWE.
Everyone
Macho
did.
Man, Ultimate Warrior.
Quintessential.
Yeah, I'm a grown man now, and I can't watch it because it's fake.
Because
Whoa,
it's fake. Now,
come on now.
I like what he just said, though. He's
But
got a point.
I respect it.
I get what
but
you're
to
saying,
me,
but-
I can't believe how. Maybe it's because I watch
Because you're
actual
a
like
mixed martial
real
artist in
sports.
boxing
So
and
when I watch
kickboxing.
WWE, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going
now,
on?
can you not suspend your disbelief like when you go into a movie theater or when you go watch a play or even it is a form of entertainment. It is a male soap opera, some have called it, but to me, honestly, the way I call it now, having done MMA and boxing, these guys are as athletic and to me as
Take it
entertaining
easy,
as,
Mauro.
Hey, come on
Take
now.
it easy,
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
people
brother.
say, "Oh
Come
yeah,
on.
but it's fake," and,
No,
and,
it's-
and then you go, "So is
You have
acting?"
to see, but you have
know,
to
but
see
all
the
the
injury-
actors are heroes.
Brandon, you have to see
right?
the injury list too, bro.
I'm with you.
I'm
I'm with you,
I'm
but
saying they're not.
it's-
I'm not saying they're as athletic as the MMA guys, but it is to me. It incorporates everything I've always loved, which I never got into comics. I wasn't a comic book reader.
Ooh, I love me some comics.
WWE or pro wrestling, sports entertainment were my real life comic heroes, and now they tell
fair.
stories. It's storytelling. It's to me, it's performance art. It's sports. It's
Is it because I
drama.
don't understand the storyline?
Yeah, maybe, and sometimes maybe the storylines don't catch your fancy, and that's fair enough. The one thing dude, we do this 52 weeks a year. I've been with them since January. I'm already wanting to tap out. The travel schedule is insane.
Don't get me wrong. The amount of work they
It's
put in is insane.
insane.
The injuries are real. When they
Yeah.
hit, it's real. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's
every-
not a sport.
Well,
You can't call it a sport.
No, sports entertainment is what it's now known as.
Sports
But I'll tell you like
It's
this:
entertainment.
The one thing I've always gone back to, and it serves us well. For those of us who get it, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't, no explanation.
Why is
will
it
never
so
do.
big though? Like
Because
85,000 in
it's-
WrestleMania, right?
It's a record. It is amazing.
Why is it so big?
WrestleMania has become like it is its own Super Bowl. It is one.
I
If you
know.
look at the research and WWE, buddy, social media. Hey, UFC, who's done an amazing job. So UFC's got like over 2 million, just over 2 million followers. WWE, as I last checked, 6.1 million followers. And now doing the show, my friend, I get messages from Peru, from Germany, from Chile, from New Zealand. This thing is a
My
global
cousin
phenomenon.
from Holland is texting.
Why?
No, I know.
I watch it. I can't
understand.
understand it.
I get it.
Compared to, because if there's so much content out there. There's
Sure.
soccer,
Sure.
right? There's
Sure.
football.
Sure.
There's
Sure.
fighting. There's
I think
kickboxing.
it's something that's generational. I think it's something, for me anyway, my parents, my dad was a huge fan. My mom's father, my grandfather. So it's something that gets, because I see it at the shows. It's families, it's grandparents, and it's still the
And
one
another-
thing you can see.
Stone Cold, when you would see him, would you watch the match or not?
No.
No, you see, I do have that. With some guys, I had that. I
The
go,
Rock.
wow, The Rock. I
So
go,
when
wow.
Rock was in Miami and did WrestleMania,
Yep.
I had people over at my house.
Yep.
And they're like, WrestleMania? I'm like, yeah, I love The Rock, man.
Yep.
So we watched it.
Yep.
I want my money back. Rock, you owe me $60. You owe me $60.
Bill Goldberg,
I like that. Bill
You owe me
Goldberg.
$60, Rock.
But see,
$60?
60
This-
bucks.
no,
You
but
see,
it's
but
like-
now this new thing, this new
Hey,
deal on
now no more
WWE.com.
$60. Now for $9.99 $10 a month, $120 a year, you get WWE's
Everything.
pay-per-view and the thousands upon thousands of hours of their library.
You know that's how Fight
like
Pass.
Fight
That's
Pass.
how Fight Pass came about.
Thank you.
Dana went, man, how can we do
Thank
this?
you.
Here's
And
Fight
they did
Pass.
it. And look what
they're kind of doing it.
But no, but I
They
like
have a
about
ways to
Fight
go.
Pass. They've added Glory Kickboxing. They've added a lot of other smaller events,
Invicta,
which is live
right.
Invicta.
EBI.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're trying to make it special. I like the idea of having a feature fight. Didn't they have
They're making a
Diego
Netflix, that's what they're
Sanchez?
doing.
They had Ross Pearson.
Yeah,
in the
So
last
UFC
one.
Netflix.
Yeah, so they're trying to make Fight Pass a destination. And
For
who
everything.
knows? Because WWE said this too. Look where TV is going, you guys.
It's all going to be
Well,
computer
Netflix, it's all
streaming. Yeah, it's all
subscription,
streaming.
screening.
Yes.
No, that's why I'm saying they're going to be Netflix.
Absolutely.
but for
That's
in their category.
That's the Netflix, exactly.
Yeah,
And that's-
I just wanted to ask you about the wrestling because I just don't.
No,
and
I
I'm not
understand.
hating
No,
on
no,
it.
no,
If that's
you
your
can.
thing, do
Believe
your
me, There's a
thing.
lot of people, and to be honest, I am very impressed that there hasn't been more backlash because I think finally the stigma has been removed where people do understand. Yes, it's a form of entertainment. We're not trying to say that.
They
it's
did have a dip, right? When the UFC became big, they had a dip for a bit, right?
No,
It
but
was
see,
hurting
people
them.
don't realize this. The WWE helped the UFC big time when they
especially
were
Brock
in
Lesnar.
the biggest-
Lesnar.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar. I
1.6
mean, and
Lesnar.
that's the other thing. And it's funny. When I go into the WWE locker room, I have the Undertaker, who's the legend, this big.
I think he's a
towering
black
force.
belt,
But
right,
he-
in
buddy,
jiu-jitsu.
a huge fight fan. And here I am looking at him. First time we meet, I go, I don't even know what to call him, Mr. Undertaker. Hi, Undertaker. He goes, hey, we got to talk about fights. And then we're talking about
He
fights
loves
and
it.
roots of. And then Dean Ambrose. Hey, I remember you calling the Strike Force fights. Dick Diaz is my guy. Now, when I went to Strike Force or Pride, or they want to talk pro
See,
wrestling.
this is what.
There's
So
a
I
crossover.
used to. And I'll take some heat for this. I used to make fun of the WWE, how grown men were into it.
Sure.
But I've met WWE guys, especially the famous. They're
Yep.
great dudes.
Great guys.
And they work
Smart.
so hard.
And buddy,
They
imagine
work
this.
so
They
hard.
all need to be a Conor McGregor because otherwise they don't make money. They need to be.
Hold on, Conor McGregor took, and that's the thing. Going back to Ali, Ali took from Gorgeous George or Freddie Blassie, depending upon who you say. Floyd Mayweather. The biggest names in combat sports have taken
True.
pages from WWE because you're right. WWE sells spectacle, sells larger than life, and promos, talking.
And you
We're seeing
love
how
it.
important. Well, I love it because I see why this works. And to me, it blows me away sometimes too that it is so popular because you wonder, oh, but this is missing from it, or you can get the UFC, or you can watch boxing. To me, I love it all because I get what I don't get with boxing, I get in WWE. What I don't get in WWE, I get in UFC. And to me, it feels, you got your corn, your green beans,
You're all
your
filled up.
mashed potatoes, and then you got your beef.
Well,
You got your beef.
And what's the beef with you?
No,
What's the beef?
No, bro.
Brutus
no,
beefcake, baby.
No, with Mauro. The thing is the UFC would be steak. What else do you do?
I don't know,
The
brother. I don't
UFC
know.
would be steak.
Yeah.
Boxing would be salmon,
Okay.
and then WWE would be
What's
tofu because it's
It's a
fake.
wild-
It's fake meat.
And it's
fake meat.
But it's wild river salmon. I hope.
It would be artificial meat though.
I know, yeah, the tofu, yeah.
compared to the others.
Yeah.
I get it, but to me, honestly, it took me 30 years, and as of this, I still don't believe
Exactly
I get to do
30
it. But
years,
yeah,
like on the
30,
day.
16 years. Well, 16 years old. I started in pro wrestling as a teenage
I know,
TO
man.
manager, and
I'm very
I
familiar with
love
the
it.
career.
No, but I love
There
it.
is
To
a
me,
video, and I saw that, and I hope it's going to be
Wrestling
when you wrestle and you.
I wrestled a little guy.
It is so funny.
I
You'll
was 18
die.
years old.
Boss,
I could box.
have they ever approached you to do anything WWE?
No, WWE. Tell them about your pro wrestling match in Japan. What happened?
Well, I know you did pro wrestling in Japan.
Yeah.
Same as like Josh Barnett and
But
stuff,
does he
right?
know? Did you know the story? What happened in one match? You talk about being fake. What happened, Buzzito?
Oh no! Well, the first match I break a disc in my back. The second one I rupture an eardrum, and the
But
third.
what about the opponent? What he did?
The first.
Yeah. So
first
the
match. So
story.
this is the deal, right? You talk about what you're gonna do. There's a beginning, there's a middle part, and there's an ending.
So in
And
the
rest
back, you go
ad-lib.
through play by
You
play.
go through it like the day before already. So the thing was that he was gonna throw me in the corner, and then he was gonna go give me 3
already knows
elbows,
where this is going.
and then he would go step back. This is the number 2 from New Japan at the
Yeah.
time, and he's going to the audience. He'd go, yeah, and then he's gonna drop me with the final elbow, right? So that's
That's the story, the script.
the story. So the guy comes out, first elbow, he throws me in the corner. Hey, first elbow is perfectly timed, no problem. The second one is a hit, harder. The third one is a full-on hit.
Oh, yeah.
What?
So
Yeah,
my
strong
automatic
start,
reflex
yeah,
goes in, clink, and I go, bam!
Boom!
And he knocked him
goes-
out. Boss literally knocked him out. He wasn't
palm
supposed
struck
to.
him?
Yeah.
Gave him the old boss special?
Don Fry is in the corner. He goes like, oh, no,
Shit.
no.
That's why you can't have a real fighter.
55,000
Thank you,
people
Edge.
at the Tokyo Dome.
Knocked out.
Oh, is
they're
it-
probably
no,
like, damn,
no,
that
they-
dude is a good actor.
He got 20 seconds like to wake up. He goes, 1, and they walked around. And then we continued the match. But after that match, all the fighters would come before and they say, please, Mr. Rutte, not...
Please don't knock me out.
Very simple. I say, you don't hit me, I don't hit you.
Yeah, man.
You hit me, I hit you back.
That's why you can't have a wild card like
how
Boss in
incredible
there.
would Boss Rutten, you too, but Brock Lesnar have been without diverticulitis in the UFC?
I think he'd been the greatest heavyweight of all time.
He's
If
amazing.
he,
He's
if he,
a
if he,
freaking
if he could
animal.
Such an
dedicate
animal
himself,
now.
he'd been the best
He's
of all
still,
time.
even
Yeah.
in WWE, like you talk about what the secrets here now, whatever. But the way he just performs, see, he is believable. And then what he talks about in Japan, there are certain styles. When I did the New Japan, the WWE even is taking pages out of the MMA playbook now. There are
Some
pro
guys have
wrestlers
gloves
that-
on and
well, no,
stuff.
with the submission game, like they're actually
They're bad though,
simulating-
Mauro.
I know,
They're
I'm
bad.
a fighter, yes. But if you put it in the storyline of whatever, like it allows kids who may never seen it to get a look, and maybe they'll go research and they'll become a UFC fan. To me, I think all of it can coexist. I know you find it hard to believe, and I think a lot of people do. But my friends, you look at millions of people a week.
Oh, I
and
know,
I'm not
they love
lying.
it.
WrestleMania
Oh, I know, it's huge.
on April
Yeah,
3rd.
crazy. It's
huge.
Over, they're thinking maybe close to 100,000 people. So
Live
they're
at the
doing
event.
something right.
How,
man.
what kind of pay-per-view numbers do they do?
Now that there's because of the network now they're not beholden to pay-per-view numbers anymore. They thought pay-per-view was dying, and it may very well be. But yet look at the UFC. This is what I say again. With all of the injuries the UFC had and all the main events they lost last year, it's actually benefiting them this year. And I think UFC is going to have maybe its best year ever because of it.
They could. They could. All right, Special K, let's go to some fan questions. We got a bunch for you
Fan
guys.
questions.
First one's for you, boss.
Oh,
Your best memory of Randleman.
Kevin Randleman,
Kevin
Yes.
Randleman.
your good friend.
Well, it's the story that I told with Maurissimo was there also, and Ryan Hyen, you would say here, Gracie. And then Quinton Jackson actually left the group because he knew already something was
wild
going to
group.
down.
Oh, That's a
This was
wild
This was my
group.
first New Year's Eve, 2003.
Holy shit.
Bas Rutten, Hyen Gracie, Quinton Jackson, Kevin Randleman, and the nerd from Canada.
Bad News Bears.
Yes, and then we got in some trouble with some bouncers, and let's be honest. We wanted to tone down, so we bought some weed. That was the thing.
Where's this at? Japan?
This Japan.
Where,
Okay.
where weed is
Roppongi.
considered like
Yeah,
you
just
go to
not
jail
good,
for
you know. So
25
but you
years.
want to you say, okay, let's go and relax and just have a good time. Now everybody was jumping up, and I go to the bouncers. I get it, boom, I go back. While I turn around, I see this. They screwed me. So I go back right away, and I tell them it's not enough, and we start talking to get this whole discussion. And I said, listen, you're gonna have a problem. We're gonna need what we want to have. We'll be back here in 15 minutes, and you just make sure that we gotta have it. And he goes, oh yeah, whatever. So we go away, and we're waiting around the corner somewhere in this building with mailboxes, and I know that Randleman is jumping up and he's hitting mailboxes. First turn, he's not breaking anything. Hyen Grace, he's freaking
he's
out
nuts.
because now he
I
stands
love
there, he doesn't know what to
Hyen.
do.
Crazy.
Hyen Grace is screaming at me, but I'm trying to talk to Kevin. And
He's
I
the
say,
voice of
Hyen, can you
reason.
shut up for a moment? I get, okay, listen, Kevin, you could just, and Kevin is bouncing, ding, 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 and Hyen Gracie goes now against me. He says, well, don't tell me to shut up, boss. I go, dude, are you serious now? Are we going? Come on, please. Could you please for a second let me take us? So we go and go. I say, okay, we got to go back right now. We got to go back to these guys. So we go back to the bouncers. They're these big bouncers. They're all dressed the same with the earpieces, like Men in Black. And the guy's looking at us, and he kind of could tell that something happened. So I see him looking over our shoulder. So we look back, and there's 3 other of them coming in the same clothes, like big guys coming. So we all turn. I say, check this out, and we'll look. And these guys, they see us. And in like half a second, they turn all
See
three
ya.
around.
See ya.
It was
And then
amazing. I was standing there, it was like right out of a movie. It's Boss, Hyan, and Kevin Randleman, 3 of
Holy
Pride's badasses.
shit.
And these guys are like, our big boys, man. They're big. Come walking. And as soon as they see him, it literally turn around and go the other way. And then they text the guy after.
No, the telephone goes, and I go, pick it up. I say, those are the guys, your reinforcement. So they go, and they said, boss, what did they say? I don't know, but they probably said, give everything you got.
Yeah.
Give them whatever you got. Yeah.
That's what we got.
That's why we
love
don't
that, man.
remember New Year's Eve 2000.
Dude, that might have been the baddest wrecking crew of all time.
Oh.
Ryan Gracie, Randleman,
so
and
intense.
Boss
So
back
intense.
in the day,
Hyan
and
Gracie,
Rampage.
like rest in peace, but what a wild card that guy was.
Yeah.
Remember my first show was Bushido, October 2003. He beats who was it? Hamanaka. So he takes the microphone. Are we allowed to swear here?
Oh yeah.
He goes, Yoshida! You motherfucker, Yoshida! And I'm like, whoa! Insane, man. He was unbelievably unhinged, and yet he also had a sweet side. But he really was an intense human being, and it's so.
I've
sad
heard
how
great
he
stories.
died,
I've
but
heard great
he's
stories
such
about
a
Hyan.
great
I
guy,
never
man.
met him. Boss,
Remember when he pulled the fire alarm in the St. Thomas Arena? All the power.
That was Ryan, right?
The Hyan Gracie.
Hyan Gracie, yeah.
Same,
Oh.
the guy was
he's
nuts.
wild, which made him a good fighter, and obviously the way he ended up.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
Boss, does it ever bother you, like guys like Randleman, Hyan? We see these guys passing away, and you're just freaking keeping on, because you were a wild man back in the day.
I was a wild man. I slipped through every curve, man. I don't know how I'm still alive. I'm very fortunate that I am, and that I cleaned up my life a whole bit now. But
Grandfather.
it's hard. It's hard to see. And you know what? The thing is this: when you see it with the Ramon Deckers and Sean Tompkins and all these guys, they come. I've talked to them like 6 months before. They cut everything out. Let's no more partying. It's more focused now. We all got older.
Yeah.
They started training. Ramon Decker started biking, but he's
Yeah.
insane. And then he wants to be the best and that. So everybody start cleaning up their lives, and then it happens. So it is such a weird thing. You've been your whole life. You've been doing crazy stuff, drinking, you did drugs, partying, all the crazy stuff you did. Never something happened, and then once you clean up, suddenly something happens, and
That's why I
the scary
party
part.
every single day.
You just got to stay with it, man.
I don't sleep.
Hey,
my
don't be
man.
a quitter, Mauro.
we got
The thing is as a fighter, especially your guys' level, you're such extremists. Like you need those endorphins, you need that adrenaline rush. So when that goes away, thank God I have this show and other entertainment stuff. But I don't know, man.
That's where people get hooked. That's
I
where it
get
goes
it,
up.
man.
Yeah.
I 100% get, because you give me no goal, no motivation, and money.
That's why Pat Miletich-
We're gonna do some weird things.
Yeah, he
That's where
changes
I think-
tornadoes and all these guys that you're gonna have to find
But
something
that's
to
where I
replace it
hope
with.
mental-
To.
I hope
That
even
doesn't
the
go. Your
UFC
body breaks
skydiving.
down. Your body breaks down, but that heart and mind of a fighter is still
I
there.
think there has
That's
to be
great.
more resources, and especially with combat sports, invested in mental health aspects because of that, for retirement, for a variety of things, not just concussion and stuff, but actual mental health. Because even in WWE, all entertainment, what happens when the applause stops? You know it's a drug, buddy. Walk into the octagon in the crowd, knowing you're on pay-per-view, whatever. That's a drug.
I got super fortunate because I get the same high from live shows and this show.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We
TV
understand.
shows and these other. So
100%.
I found the whole thing.
Right.
Baby Jesus, but
Still deep down inside, it's nothing like knocking somebody out.
yeah, I guess.
all right.
I guess, boss.
All right,
I never,
yeah.
from our live show, we were in Seattle, 900 people theater sold
that
out.
is so cool.
For me, it's like,
cool.
Yeah.
and they're there to see Brian and Brendan. They're not there to see the whole card.
Yeah.
So from that, I get
No, that's the same.
very
Then you're
cool,
feeding
and
off
you're right,
again.
it
That's
is
great. That's the
endorphins.
same as
It's
stand up
nuts.
doing.
Is it
That's
harder?
it. That's
Is it
all.
harder than
It's
what
just
you were
different.
doing?
It's just different.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard.
It's
It's
to get
just
used to.
different.
Yep.
Yes. What else you got, Kay?
Okay, we got another one for you. When did you realize that you were a fighter, and what moment did you realize that you were going to make a living out of it?
I seem to want to believe that when I knocked the first bully out, I was 14 years old, and it went so easy, one shot.
Damn, you didn't get bullied till you were 14?
No, there was the biggest bully, and I never did anything
gotcha.
back.
He was
Gotcha.
bullied
I had
all
this
his life
whole
'cause he
skin
had
disease
eczema
everywhere, and
Gotcha.
so I got really Shucky van Herrick was his name, and one shot he dropped, and then never really thought about it because there was no money in fighting until I did a show. We used to do these comedy shows, martial arts shows with highly level choreographed fights with sticks, with short sticks, with nunchucks, with all these crazy things. We do this on music, and we do this at events or in nightclubs. And we traveled all around Europe doing this for TV. And on one of these shows, because we come up with like backflips and somersaults, we do all this stuff to attract the people. One guy was sitting there, Chris Dolman, and Chris Dolman was from the organization Rings, and he stopped me and he said, "Hey, I remember you from your kickboxing and Thai boxing. I see you doing these freaking backflips. Did you ever think about free fighting in Japan?" That was the first time. This was like in '92, and that got my attention. And they explained what it was. And at the time with Rings was there were works.
Rings,
It was not a real organization at the end. It became. So that was my big thing, because I told them, I said, well, if that's going to happen, if they're going to ask me to lose, I rather lose for real than I lose for fake,
sure.
So I said, that's not going to happen. But, and that was it. I was in the UFC. I was at Pancras and knocked the first guy out. And then the second guy, I knocked him out. And the third one I lost, and it opened. Once I realized I could be a champion was when there was a day when all the other fighters around the world from Australia and America, we were rolling at the Pancras gym. And because I never had a coach, I always felt like my skills were not up to par. And when I rolled with these guys, I realized suddenly that my skills were there. And then that's when I came home and I told my wife, I'm going to be a champion in this.
And that's when she said, "I'm divorcing you."
Yeah, she said, "See ya."
She
That's
the
amazing.
smartest thing.
I remember, and I don't think I ever told you this, boss. When I first started fighting, Nate Marquardt, who competed in Pancras, he was a champion.
Yes.
He did a bunch of stuff. You guys know each other a little
Yep.
bit, Japan, all that stuff. And I couldn't really relate to any of the fighters. There weren't any like kind of athlete, like hybrid athletes.
Sure.
And then Nate one day goes, "Man, your athleticism reminds you of Bas Rutten."
Wow.
So then I went, bing, and then you were my guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, I want to be like Bas. I want to be like Bas. I'll never
be
forget
like
that.
Bas.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool. Let's go.
That's very
So whenever anyone talks about the first athlete, I'm always like, yeah, Bas Rutten, man. He was,
right
he was the
on.
original hybrid.
Boom.
Yeah, boom.
Love it.
Nate Marquardt, shout out. He's still fighting, man.
Nate the Great. What about his
Unbelievable,
knockout
huh?
of Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, old school.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
The Mortal Kombat combo to finish him off, too. And he just knocked out CB Dalloway.
Yes,
He's
see,
getting
my
another one
God,
here,
it's
too.
Yeah.
So weird. Again,
Crazy
he's
how that goes, yeah?
Crazy.
Yeah.
What else you got, Kay?
Okay, this is a combo.
You gonna make it?
What time is
Okay.
it now?
This.
Oh,
4
yeah.
foot.
Oh, yeah, we'll be
Just
fine.
double check.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll do two more. Get you guys
no
out of here.
worries, no worries.
Sorry,
Boss.
fellas.
No, not at all.
If
This
you
is
could
great.
fight one more time, who would your opponent be? And for Mauro, who would you want Boss to face one more time?
Can you say my name again?
Mauro?
Very nice. Thank you. Sounds-
I knew what you were saying first. I just want to hear it again.
I was like, man, it sounded like she got it right. Can you do it?
Right?
Can you do?
No,
Can
you did.
Can you do it again and whisper
I
though?
just love the way you said it. Sorry, no, it was very nice of you. What was the first part for Boss?
If who I wanted to fight, I would want to be fighting for the world title then, I guess, right? So whoever
What-
is the
wait,
champion.
what-
But
wait,
205, I wouldn't never do heavyweight anymore because I was the lightest heavyweight. I literally had to drink waters at the weigh-in to
Just
make
to
go
get
over
over it.
200 pounds.
And
for
for
the
me,
title.
she asked who I would wish to fight. It almost happened. I would love to have seen him go with Vanderlei Silva under
Oh.
Pride.
Oh yeah,
Pride Rules.
yeah,
Bas Rutten, Vanderlei
Yes.
Silva.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now is Vanderlei gonna fight Fedor and Ryzen? You think?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. They're gonna have to
See,
ask
why
for
is
it. Maybe
too
not
late.
the first time, but
It's
the
too
second
late.
time.
He's still
Yeah,
fighting.
but
Too late.
But not for the Japanese people. They're gonna
Why?
watch it.
Why, people? Why?
What else you got, KK?
Okay, last one. Who is Boss's favorite fighter to watch?
Don't say Justin Gaethje.
Gage is. I know.
I love the guy
I love
too,
it.
but hey, boss,
No, I
we
would
gotta
like
keep it real on this show.
No.
Dwayne Ludwig.
Anybody who puts on a performance, like a TJ Dillashaw, or a Dominic Cruz, and just every.
Come
it's
on,
so-
you're a striker. Who do you like?
What about
man?
Kimbo Slice?
No, I want to see complete,
you are? You
complete
like the
mixed
complete-
martial artists.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. And as a fighter, you know as well, it's very hard to say as a fighter, as having had that profession before, to who do you want to see fight. I like
know-
any guy who goes for
That's how I am.
everything.
I don't have a personal
Yeah, because
favorite.
it's so
my
hard already.
ego's too big to give a guy a shout out.
But no, seriously, but
Oh, no, not me.
Fights, I always on Twitter, always get it. Who's your favorite fighter to call? Who's this? I always respond yes.
Yeah, for reals.
Yeah.
But, honestly, there's too many. I like so many guys. There's not one guy. I like certain.
think it's
I like
disrespectful.
matchups.
Yeah.
I like matchups.
John Jones, I really enjoy watching
I'll
him.
never miss a
He's
John
all over
Jones
the
fight.
place.
Yeah,
John Jones.
yeah, of course.
And with the same as with Diaz is also they
Diaz,
fight.
I
You want to
love.
see Robbie Lawler.
Robbie
You want
Lawler, man,
want to see
always.
all these guys who always go out there do it. Cain Velasquez,
Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
DC also.
See, I love Mighty Mouse, but I'm
Mighty
not
Mouse
paying
Punk.
to watch him fight.
See, people say that's why I brought it up.
The
I think
biggest
he's amazing. I
pay-per-view.
think he's one of the best pound for pound fighters.
He is.
He's too small.
Again,
No, he's by far.
He's a Floyd
he's
Mayweather.
not-
He's the
Floyd
He's one or
Mayweather of the
two,
UFC.
but hey, he's one or two, but he's 105 pounds.
Last week on our Rutten and Ranallo show,
Yes,
that's your podcast,
on
you know, on
iTunes.
Fridays.
Yep.
Last week, we were talking
Fridays.
about pay-per-view numbers, and the
Right.
biggest pay-per-view draw he ever had, DJ, was 115,000.
That's terrible.
So you see, it's a
But
shame. It's a
that's-
shame because
It's a
he
shame.
deserves that money.
You know why I think,
Yeah.
Boss? Because he's small, and I think guys sitting on their couch go, dude, he's tiny. I can beat that guy
Yeah.
up. You look at John Jones or Cain, you're like, holy shit, that guy
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there, he's killing everybody.
And it's a
But
shame
Mighty
because Mighty Mouse would destroy
But
these
again,
guys.
going back,
Everyone at that party, he would beat up at the
It's
same
funny
time.
that
Go
you
on.
say that because again, one more quick thing. WWE was the land of the giants. The muscle has everything. Oh, that large life, and yet the smaller guys who can work, the speed, the athleticism.
Yeah, CM Punk
that's
was
what
also
people,
the
That's what
biggest-
people like.
Last question, then we're going to get you out of here. How do you feel about CM Punk coming to the UFC?
I feel
it a
that
good
CM
move?
Punk will be showing up at WrestleMania a week from this Sunday as a massive surprise. I'm kidding. No, and I
Breaking
think the bus-
news.
yeah, exactly. I think the ship unfortunately has sailed because that was a stunt casting. As much as I respect CM Punk and I really wish him nothing but the best. One of my favorite workers at WWE. I'm glad he has the dream, but the injury and the fact that it's been so long. What does it mean?
You want to? If I'm
What does it
CM
mean
Punk's
anymore?
manager,
And why in UFC, man?
if I'm CM Punk's manager, you know what I do? He retires from WWE.
Yep.
He goes to Duke Rufus, amazing coach, right?
yeah, love Duke.
He should have not said anything. Trained for 2 to 3 years, and then came out and went, "I'm fighting UFC,
that's smart.
UFC 200."
Yeah,
Instead
yeah.
of all these expectations.
these-
What do they say about hindsight?
But what do they say about just
no, you're right.
brains
I
and
agree.
common sense?
Yeah, wow.
Why?
Common sense
Hey,
not very
but
common.
over the
He's
UFC,
never
they
been.
need
He's
to know.
never even been in a real fight.
no,
I know.
And
I
you're
agree.
going to go to the UFC?
No.
Yeah.
Why would someone
No.
go, bro? Let's train for 2 to 3 years, see if you even like
And then
this,
talk to the
and
UFC.
then do it.
Oh, yeah.
I got
talk,
two
because
words
not
for
even
you.
talk to the UFC before
Yes.
because
I
they
got
want you
two
to bring it
words
out.
for you.
Tell me.
James Tony.
Yeah, there you go. And that guy was a real fighter. That guy was a real fighter.
I got 2 words for you.
Fellas,
Hey, woo!
they can find your podcast on iTunes.
yes.
The new podcast, one of my
Rutten
favorites.
and Ranallo on
Woo!
iTunes.
Thank you.
And don't forget Inside MMA on Access TV.
Yeah, tomorrow actually is the first show.
Friday,
Tomorrow.
March 25th. And don't
Basito.
forget WWE's WrestleMania, week Sunday.
And we're-
only on the WWE
Where can
Network.
they find you on Twitter, on Instagram?
What?
Rutten_Ranallo.
Yeah,
That's
and at Bas Rutten.
MMA.
And yours truly, the mayor of Retweet City at MAURORANALLO. Fighter and the Kid. Love you guys.
Boom. Love you guys.
Yes.
This
Thanks,
is
brother.
the Fire the Kid. We're out.